Peace, fam. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. I feel so good right now. I'm very, 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 very happy. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. And also just realize I'm 43. I'm 43 years old. I feel good though. I feel good. I'm 43, but I feel good. Hit that like button. Again, please hit that like button. Y'all stop being stingy with these likes, okay? Y'all stop being stingy with these likes. So hit the like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Before we get started, I got a couple of announcements. We are rolling to Nigeria August 3rd to the 12th. We are rolling to Nigeria August 3rd to the 12th. If you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. We'll love to have you. We are also rolling. So we're rolling to Nigeria. We're also rolling to where are we going? We're going to Zanzibar in September, Namibia and South Africa in November, and then Sierra Leone in September. So I'm sorry, in December. I apologize. So if you're interested in joining, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. And to continue on the topic from yesterday, we were discussing why don't African countries have nukes? And then that kind of spent into, can African countries, Black African countries, really Black countries in general, can they defend themselves from Western attacks? And let me play this video. And this is what I mean. So, I remember, do you guys, I don't know how old, people in the chat are, but do you guys remember the first Gulf War with Bush Sr.? And I remember that's like the first war I saw on TV. And I remember waking up in the mornings before my grandma would take me to school and watching CNN in the news, and you would see like the little green dots in the sky and all of that. And now watching the footage from this Iran and Iraq skirmish, you see the missiles being shot down, and missiles being intercepted. And I'm just asking if, we'll say, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Senegal, if missiles were fired on these countries, can Africa, Black Africa, defend itself? Will Black Africa be in position to intercept these missiles that are raining down and shoot them from the sky? Like, do any African countries have anything similar to the Golden Dome? I mean, Iron Dome. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's any country. I mean, if we're talking infantry, yeah. Well, I don't even think even with infantry, I don't know. If it was strictly ground game infantry, like for example, my honest opinion, and I'm not a military soldier. I'm not, I've never been in the military, would never want to join the military. And people who were in the military, maybe you can answer this question. Remove air support, remove the Navy, straight ground game. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. U.S. military on the ground in Iran versus the Iranian Republic Army, whatever it's called. Who wins? Just straight boots on the ground. No, no air support. No Navy, warships shooting shit from the sea. Straight boots on the ground. U.S. military versus Iran. I think it's called the Iranian Republican Guard, something like that. Who wins? Who wins? Well, yeah, Egypt and Algeria. That's Northern Africa. I'm talking about Black Sub-Saharan Africa and Black countries in general. Yeah, we know Egypt has a good military. Algeria as well. We even can throw in Morocco too. It's just something about those Sub-Saharan. I know some people hate the term Sub-Saharan, but it's just something about Sub-Saharan African countries. We just ain't got it together. It really ain't about the numbers. Look at Congo. Look at the population of Congo and look at the population of Rwanda. So, I think it's really about just the fight and the will. And, that's what I think it's about. Yeah, I can't stand the term sub-Saharan, but it's in context. It's we're using it now. But Zimbabwe won against the West. You might have a point. Well, you kind of got a point there. That argument could be made. Zimbabwe won against the West. Zimbabwe was once Rhodesia. Am I correct? And they kicked them out. And I want to say the South African apartheid government and military was offering support to Rhodesia, and Mugabe and his men, they won. So you kind of have a point there. You might have a point there. I don't know, but guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in, you call in. You got the AES, but see the issue with the AES in like countries like Mali and Burkina Faso, these radical jihadis, they're causing problems. Again, these radical jihadis, they're causing problems on the ground in these countries. So yeah, so that's the problem with that's the problem with the AES right now. You are correct. I do believe the jihadis are backed by the West. Well, indirectly, and maybe you could say directly. Well, you could say directly because thanks to Obama and his role in Libya, those weapons got into the hands of the jihadis. So you do have a point. Skywalker, go ahead.
Yo, what's up, Donnie? Give me a few minutes. Hold on.
A few minutes. Well, okay. All right, guys.
Not a few minutes. I'm just walking to my car. That's all. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not a few minutes. I'm just walking to my car.
Okay. All right, guys. Links in the chat room. You are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation.
Okay. Here we go, Donnie. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm well. Now, this is a very interesting topic, man. I wish we talked more about a united African front that could actually defend the continent, right? But I think, we're just so divided. But I think the AES what the AES is, what they're doing right now, building nuclear facilities or whatever. I don't know if it's weapon facilities, or whatever. But the AES is moving in the right direction, right? Obviously, they're the only people on the continent that's thinking logical, right? As long as Africa continues to divide itself up into different countries, Black people around the world will suffer because of it. So it's not just the people on the continent that is suffering because of a lack of unity. I mean, obviously, as Pan-Africans, we understand it's the continent's lack of unity. And when I always talk about the Francophone Africans and how they have literally came to the conclusion that we should be more loyal to our race than the countries. Let me say that again. We are supposed to be more loyal to our race than we are to our countries. And just, the literature of Francophone speaking Africans, even before this current revolution that's occurring in the Francophone speaking world, even the literature that permeates the Francophone speaking African world that was coming, or in other words, Black thought manifesting itself through the French language, always kind of kept that underlying fact at heart. But we don't see that recurring theme in the Anglophone speaking African world. And the moment that the Anglophone speaking African world comes to that realization that we must put our race before our country, then it will be a monumental, epiphany in our race, right? And then countries like Ghana and Nigeria and stuff like that probably latch on to what the AES are doing. But it's just too much division in the Anglophone speaking African world, and let alone whatever phone speaking African languages, is being spoke. And we can't defend ourselves that way, right? So, I think that we are going to be able to defend ourselves. And that one day we will be able to, and I think that time is approaching. But we just need revolutions to occur around the AES so this can start to become a true reality. I mean, Mali's already making their own weapons, right? Like we got the nuclear facilities, you got Mali's making their own weapons. South Africa, has a pretty strong army. Nigeria's army isn't as strong as it should be, seeing that, it's the largest populated nation in the world. And a lot of African armies aren't that strong. I mean, we see them on TV and we see a lot of people with guns and stuff, like over here in the Western world, and we'll think that, hey, look, we see these Africans driving tanks and having guns, and you think that they got strong armies. But a lot of their armies aren't, like trained boots on the ground, doesn't exceed, let's just say they ought to be doing way more militarily than they're doing now. And nothing in Africa is going to be able to get done. No true independence is going to be able to get, accomplished if we can't defend ourselves. So anybody that says that we need to put, agriculture or yada, yada, yada before military, they're not really understanding how important it is to defend yourself, right? I mean, it's difficult to feed yourself if you got terrorists, crossing borders, running in, and you got colonizers coming over here doing this and doing it. So Africa needs to invest in defending themselves. And a part of investing in defending themselves is forming a national identity, an international identity of Blackness. And this idea that the only way that we can truly defend our interests is by coming together, right, internationally, and every Black man on the planet, if you ask me, should enlist in the African army. If we had a situation where every Black man on the planet could enlist in the African army, I would be the first to enlist, right? But you know what I'm saying? We don't think like that. Everybody else thinks like that, but we don't. I'll pause there.
All right, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Anthony? How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Man, hey, how's it up there in New York, man? How's it up there in New York, or New Jersey, wherever you at? New York, New Jersey, wherever you at. How's it going?
I'm up here in New York. You talking about the weather?
Well, just in general, man. How is it, man? How is it in
Yeah,
New York?
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's pretty hot, but we maintain it, man. We trying not to get this Muslim. You know what I'm saying? We don't want him to be mayor, so hopefully that work out
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Anthony, kind of off topic, man. Do you think Adams has a chance, even though he's running as independent?
Yeah, I think Adams. You know what I'm saying? Either Adams or
Cuomo?
Curtis Silva, man. But definitely not this Muslim. Man.
But Cuomo, I mean, you think
I
so?
mean, Cuomo was a useful dog, man. Cuomo, I'm saying everybody see this the thing with a lot of people, a lot of American people, especially black people, man. You know what I'm saying? They looking like yo, Cuomo really did all that dumb shit, man. Nah. Cuomo pissed off the wrong person, so they decided to get him out of office, man. Just like what he tried to do with Eric Adams. When you piss off the wrong people, then they're gonna try to push you out. But it wasn't about no sex scandal and all that, man. Cause all these dudes be doing their dirt, man. It ain't about that, man. But
Okay.
but no, but according to the topic, I agree with the brother. I agree with him as far as the ideological concept. But what I'm finding hard to understand is like, okay, he's saying AES is moving in the right direction, but I don't really see that because I mean you got these three countries, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They large countries, but the population is small. And the thing about these countries, man, they highly Muslim. You know what I'm saying? They kind of got that Muslim ideology embedded in their soul. So I'm kind of torn with the concept. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I understand what Ibrahim Chori and the other two dudes is trying to go with it, but they got to get out of that self-grandizing type of concept and just like, okay, say, all right, listen, man, we just gonna unite as one country. Maybe put a puppet up in there and say, okay, he's gonna be the president, and we gonna be the generals that's like running shit. Because basically, this is what it boils down to, man. These dudes is not battle hardened, man. You know what I'm saying? They want to call Russia, they want to call China. You know what I'm saying? Teach me how to fight, sell me some weapons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody. The only way for a race of people, a country of people to come up, they gotta fight battles for themselves, man. They gotta understand what it means to be in the trenches, take losses, and win battles, man. Africans on the continent, they really don't want to take these losses, man. That's why they always asking somebody else to help them fight or give them weapons, man. You know what I'm saying? And as far as well, I don't want to be long winded, so I'll let somebody else talk.
No, go ahead, Anthony. Then I'll pass it to Jay. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm just saying, as far as with can we protect ourselves from the West? This is why I don't really like to really, what I'm saying, talk about what I know or what I feel, because I feel like when I say something, a lot of what I'm saying is kind of like, what I'm saying, misunderstood. But what I'm saying, the West is not your problem, man. Because you got to understand, okay, the white man might have colonized us or might have enslaved us, but it pales in comparison to the Arab world and the Muslim world, man. The West is not your problem. The East is your problem, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these black folks talking about, oh yeah, France this, England this, America this. They live in these countries, but they don't live in these Muslim countries, man. And if they did, they wouldn't be on the internet talking this rah 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 type of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just need brothers to understand, man. You know what I'm saying? Places like Iran, which was 100 years or 2000 or three, maybe 500-600 years ago or whatever, or maybe 1,000 years ago, that was the Persian Empire. You know what I'm saying? The Syria, that was the Syrians. You know what I'm saying? Yemen, Iraq, all these countries already conquered Africa, man. They already came in Africa and invaded them and subjugated them for like hundreds of years, man. So you all hyping on the white man, yo, yeah, he did this for 400 years. That pales in comparison what the Arabs and these Muslims been doing for y'all, doing to us from since the damn early BC era, man. And I passed the mic.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Honestly, like Africa just doesn't have the systems currently. I want to say Africa, most countries in Africa. If you look at even Russia and Ukraine, look how Russia is struggling with Ukraine, the Ukraine issue. Look at what happened with Iran the other day. Israel flew into Iran, bombed stuff without, it seems like, any resistance, right? They didn't scramble their own planes, right? They didn't seem to do surface to air missiles or nothing like that. Then now America goes in and bombs some of their important sites, right? And what they're staying and doing, they're staying from hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away, and lobbing ballistic missiles, right? And so it's showing a weakness. A lot of countries, remember when they had the invasion of Iraq? At the time, everyone was like, Iraq has the fourth largest army in the world, and this and that and that and that. It took America and the coalition like, what, a few days? And they were dropping their weapons and taking off, right? So it's the systems. It looks cool. It looks impressive, the military parades and stuff that they do. But in reality, the systems aren't there in a lot of these countries, even to develop the weaponry, right? And it's not that the people are stupid. It's just that the systems aren't there for them to really advance certain things. And these systems don't come from advancing just military prowess, right? Iran is on a military footing, right? But then some of the other systems fall, like your economics, freedom, all this type of stuff, they fall down. And without that, you ain't going nowhere anyway. You see? And so if you're just banking on just having a bomb to protect you, like North Korea does, right? It's not a good bet long term, because now I have the bomb, now no one attacks me, but my economy is still crap. I still can't like provide for the general welfare of my entire population. And so I think that's the foundation of what you need to deal with, because generally speaking, no country is really trying to attack another country. At least democratic countries aren't really trying to attack other countries just to take land and resources militarily, like in the 1800s, right? And so I think you need to work on your economy, your educational systems, trying to integrate into the global system a bit, you know what I mean? Trading with other people, interacting with other people, more so than your military.
We lost you, bro. Your Obama phone cut out.
You on that Trump phone now?
Yeah, so
No, that's the Obama phone. That's the Obama phone. Go ahead, Jay. You had lost you.
can you hear me?
We hear you now.
Yeah, like, yeah, my phone, anyway, when it goes off the when it locks out the screen, it dies out. But anyway, I'm just saying, I think it's better to work on your other systems first.
Yeah, man. That's what Obama phone, man.
Hey, Dinus,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say one more thing about Africa West Africa being able to defend itself. There's a speech by Thomas Sankara when he came to speak in Harlem to the Black Liberation Army at Harriet Tubman School, and he talked about how important it is for blacks everywhere to to be able to defend themselves. Pretty much, that's why he, in that speech, he even asked for the Black Liberation Army to send some people to send some African Americans in Burkina Faso, even if they could just send one, to engage in joint military, practices or whatever with him and the Ghanaian president at the time, which was Rawlings. And so, Sankara kind of had this idea, and also he would go on to after that to form the Black Institute, to try to start the form the Black Institute before he got assassinated. And the Black Institute was designed to answer this same very question that you're asking right now, more or less, right? Even though Sankara characterized the question as, what can blacks do to take upon our own responsibility, and to contribute to world history. But more or less, that's the answer to the question. The answer to in order for us to begin to answer that question, we need to be able to defend ourselves. And so, and black people need to take this seriously, right? And we're so divided that it's ridiculous. I mean, common sense to tell us, if we've all been enslaved in the world, no matter what country we were in, if you were in Jamaica, you was a slave there. If you was in Haiti, you were a slave there. If you was in Trinidad, you was a slave there. If you was in America, you was a slave there. If you was in Brazil, you was a slave there. And if you was in Africa, you were a slave more or less because you was colonized, especially if we're talking about in the Congo. So no matter where we was enslaved, right? And people like the Sunla Overture, had this idea in mind. We need a united black army, no matter where we at. No matter where black people are, every black man should walk around with a red beret on his head to symbolize, hey, look, I'm a version of Traoré. I don't care what religion he's practicing. Traoré even said that faith itself needs to be decolonized, right? Traoré, he's an Islamic person, right? I mean, but you got, Christians that's following Ibrahim Traoré. Traoré, I mean, we don't care what religion he is. The black people around the world, we don't care whether he could be worshiping pigs for all we care. We care about the fact that he's for the unity of black people. And he's thinking in a common way that black people ought to be thinking. He's thinking the way that Toussaint Louverture was thinking when they conquered, or when they defeated France, like not conquered, but when they defeated France and when they gave all black people around the world amnesty there, right? And so, black people just need to get in that mindset no matter where they are. They got to stop being so apologetic. Man, like I say, but red berets should be, somebody should be like an entrepreneur, millionaire or something all around the world just for selling red berets, because every black man should wear a red beret to represent the unity of Africa and that he himself is a soldier of Africa to defend this integrity. But okay.
Can I say something real quick, man? He talking about everybody too.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I agree with the brother, but I disagree because you're talking about everybody should be wearing red berets, you know what I'm saying, and being in solidarity with Traoré. Like Traoré came up with this concept, man. Traoré ain't start this concept, man. You know what I'm saying? So why we all just jumping on his back like he started this concept, man? This is the problem with black people. I
didn't say Traoré started the concept, bro. I said Sankara. I started the whole discussion with the speech by Sankara, brother. Traoré is just advancing what Sankara was doing.
Brother, Sankara ain't start this concept, man. He got it from somebody before him and somebody
exactly.
Before
and I
him
also mentioned I mentioned Toussaint Louverture. I mentioned Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I mentioned the Haitian Revolution. I mentioned the French writers who manifested black thought in French language. I mentioned all of them.
Bro, the Haitian Revolution is incomplete, man, because it ain't accomplished what it was meant to accomplish.
Exactly.
You gotta listen. Y'all gotta understand, man. You fight a war till you win the battle, till you win the war, man. You don't fight the war to win a battle and claim a victory and say, yeah, we gain independence, but for the next 200, 300 years, we gonna be poor and we gonna be subservient, man. That's not what you fight the war for, man. I'm not saying Traoré is doing anything wrong, man. Yeah, we should get on the bandwagon and do this, that, and the third. I don't have no problem with that, man. But the problem is you have a problem getting Negroes, black men, to move accordingly, man. When they move accordingly to a certain point, they stop, man. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have 100-year, 200-year concept, man. They have a 10, 20-year concept, man. You know what I'm saying? And this goes all back to the overall point, man. You know what I'm saying? You talking about Chori's religion, man. His religion has a big aspect because before the Muslims came into West Africa was on another type of vibe, man. Now y'all can you know what I'm saying, wishy washy and sugarcoat it all you want, man. He could somebody can worship pigs. You know what I'm saying? History already told us that, man. You know what I'm saying? We tried that already, man. We tried to work with the Christians. How is that working out? How is the black church, you know what I'm saying, helping the black community, man? Now you're gonna tell us to try to work with the Muslims because they got a different religion. Now it ain't gonna work. It's a fundamentally ideological difference, man. That's the difference with countries like Iran. Everybody on the same agenda. You know what I'm saying? Whether they believe in this Muslim shit or what, they believe in each other and they believe in what they believe in, man. Black people don't believe in what they believe in. Black people believe in somebody's
And brother, you know what? And that is exactly why the warrior class is leading Africa right now. The warrior class are the ones who got the, you know what I'm saying, the support of the youth. I don't care what politicians is leading the country. Yeah, you know, Tinubu is leading Nigeria. He's a graham cracker. But listen, the warrior class, meaning Assimi Goita. Listen to me, brother. Listen, Assimi Goita, Chiani. You know what I'm saying? Traore. They represent a warrior. A warrior mindset. Listen, are you gonna let me talk, bro? Are you gonna let me talk? Oh my goodness, bro! Can I continue my thought before you interrupt me, so these people, so the audience can hear these thoughts, brother? Okay. When I'm done speaking, I promise you, I will give you the stage and listen to your brilliant ideas, brother.
Just make your point.
Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so there is a time. The time is coming, Africa, where the political class has lost all of its credibility with the youth. And what is going on is that the warrior class is taking over. The military, the ones who have sat idly by and watched politicians rinse away all their damn resources while the people who they signed up to die for suffer, right? And so that's why the youth have so much confidence in, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because they're not political class. They're not politicians. They are actual leaders, right? And so we have to stop being so pessimistic.
Brother, you're long-winded, brother.
Please, okay, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, my brother.
Can I ask this brother one quick question, man?
All right, well, go ahead. Goddamn.
What war has Chori and these other two brothers fought?
Okay, that's a great question, brother. Hey, look, right now, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, he's a captain, so he's been in combat and stuff like that. Whether or not they've won the war, we don't know. Certainly, they've won plenty of battles because they've taken back territory in their countries. They're in the midst of a war, right? So I can't answer that question. We don't know whether or not they're going to win or not, brother.
Let me get in, though, please.
Let's have Mulatto talk, man.
Appreciate you. And it'll be so brief. Now, with all due respect, I'm from the diaspora. I'm a descendant of U.S. slaves. The brother Skywalker, he seems to be a descendant of U.S. slaves. The brother Jai, you also seem to be a descendant of U.S. slaves. Don't you realize that we're arguing about something that is not our business? I would like the actual Africans to get on the panel and for them to articulate why they are unable to defend their continent against foreign powers. Really, because all of us in the U.S., we don't have the answers. We cannot speak about why the Africans are inefficient at protecting their territory and their resources, really. So, with all due respect, I hear you all having your dialogue, but this is not an issue for us to argue about. This is an issue that Africans must address themselves. This is a problem that Africans must solve themselves, with all due respect.
Okay, but I thought we all was Africans, though.
Brother, with all due respect, have you been to Africa?
Nope.
Well, I'm gonna be real with you. I've been to Africa. I've been to Cameroon. I have Cameroonian ancestry. When I went there, they called me an American. Even though we have African ancestry, ethnically we are American. It's unavoidable. So the actual Africans, the ones that are in the continent of Africa, and they're descendants that have fled all throughout the world to the US and ran to Canada, ran to the white man's countries in the UK and France, they need to go back to Africa and actually protect their resources and territory. It's not on us as the descendants of the people that Africans sold to the white man. It's not on us to dictate how they must defend themselves. They have to come up with their answer on their own, really, with all due respect.
Yeah, but as Africa go there goes the race, yeah.
I mean, you can believe that if you want to, brother. I mean, and if with
Hey,
all due respect,
you see,
if you
yo, Ditus, man. You see why I don't like talking to this panel,
well,
man.
well, let's have a dialogue. Hold on, John. Let's don't get triggered, brother. Let's have a dialogue,
No,
brother.
I'm not
John.
getting triggered, but
All
y'all
right, so
gotta
let me
stop
complete
being
my sentence.
mature,
So let me
man.
complete my sentence, brother. Let's have a calm dialogue with decorum,
Okay,
brother.
all right.
Since you feel so strongly about it, why you don't go to Africa and help them?
Why I gotta go to Africa to help them?
Okay, so you
And
just talking
wait,
shit
wait,
on the
wait, wait.
internet, then, brother.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You say help them. Helping them is helping myself. But I'm saying though, if the whole continent of Africa is destroyed, what you think they gonna do with the rest of the black people on the planet, yeah?
So go help them in Africa,
Exactly,
brother.
brother. Oh my God, brother, you just hit the nail on the head. People don't understand that the black people's destiny is intricately tied up with Africa.
So
That's why
why
I keep
y'all don't
saying we
go?
got to stop
All right, well, let's not argue about it.
disassociating ourselves with
So
Africa.
the
That's just
question
so
is,
stupid.
if that's what,
It serves no
brother,
purpose. You
stop vent,
cannot
brother. You're
you
venting,
cannot
brother.
identify one benefit. Identify
All right,
one benefit that you get for
Skywalker,
delineating yourself from
Skywalker.
Africa. Can you
What?
tell me? Oh,
My
I'm asking
God.
you a question, brother. I'm
All right,
asking you a
and
question.
watch how brief my
Okay, and
response is, brother.
okay,
Since
okay,
you
okay, okay. Let me ask you the question.
since
The
you
question
choose,
is, can
well,
you
bro,
name one benefit? Can you name one benefit that the African Americans get, or the diaspora in general get, from delineating themselves from the richest continent on earth for which they inherit when they come into the planet?
I'm gonna answer your question and don't cut me off. Watch how brief
I'm
my
not, brother. Go
response
ahead,
is.
please, please.
My
You have the
response will
floor.
be one sentence, and I'm gonna respond with a question that you tried to evade. Now, my response is, if descendants of U.S. chattel slaves delineate themselves from Africans and stop being delusional and think that we are 100% pure Africans, then maybe we could focus on preserving our communities in the U.S. that are being gentrified, that are being impoverished, that we have an increasing homelessness rate and the unemployment rate in. We should focus on the communities that are actually under our feet in the U.S., brother. Now, watch me return the question, and you'll attempt to evade it, but I'm gonna still ask the question, brother.
I'll
Since
answer that question. I'll answer that question with another question. How you gonna do
whoa,
that, man?
whoa, whoa, brother, have some
Hold
decorum.
on, yeah.
God damn it, man.
Let me answer the brother's question. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
Continue question. You had
yes,
another question for me. Go ahead.
and since he want a booty clap, I'm gonna ask him the same question. The question is, why don't you two go to
Pause,
Africa
man.
and help them?
Pause.
Why
Pause.
don't you two go to Africa and help the Africans? Since you feel so strongly about this topic.
Okay, brother. To respond to your first question, right? You're right. African Americans do have major issues in our own community, but I would also argue that the major issues that we have in our community is because we tend to negate our Africanity in terms of European culture. Now, and also, if you go back in history, most of those elements that you mentioned of the African American community was eradicated back in the 1920s when when African Americans was following a Pan-African model, especially under the UNIA, where the UNIA was in the black communities, literally feeding, doing all the basic things that a community needs. And so you could make the argument that under the Pan-African model, the African American community was developing at an exponential rate, and had it not been interrupted by
Skywalker,
COINTELPRO,
did you hear the
then
question I asked you, brother?
are
Address
you
that
going to let
part,
me
and
finish?
I'll give you an example. Look at
Oh my
Dinas and
God,
the
he
brother
didn't let
Cuddy.
me finish answering
Both
the
of them,
question. You might be
brother
an
Dinas
agent,
and
brother.
Cuddy actually went to
You didn't want the
Africa.
audience to be educated.
Cuddy,
You interrupted their
Cuddy,
education, brother.
brother, you're long-winded. Let's reduce our responses to one sentence.
Brother,
Cuddy
you
and
answer.
Dinas,
No,
brother,
you can't.
one mic at a
No,
time. I'll
no.
pass you the mic right back. I'm gonna say one sentence. I'll pass you the mic right back. Cuddy is the perfect example. He walks
Are you
it
gonna let
like
me
he
finish
talks.
answering the question?
Yes, brother. Please don't cut me off. I'm gonna say one sentence. I'll pass the mic right back to you. Cuddy is a great example. He walks it like he talk it. He believes in Pan Africanism. He's in Africa right now, helping Africans achieve Pan Africanism. You on the internet talking shit. Why you not in Africa helping Africa develop itself?
Okay, brother. I was getting to that question. I was just answering your first question. And my first response was to your first question. You asked me a second question, which was the one that you confronted me with right now. And the reason for it is, to be honest, I just don't have the funds yet, right? Everything that I'm doing right now in my life is so that I can get over there and help my brothers out, right? So, I mean, you got to remember the average African American don't got no money to go invest in Africa. Now, if we was able to organize ourselves, we would, right? But I mean, individually, right? We don't have the resources, even though collectively we do. And the reason for it is because we don't have a collective mindset individually. Individually, we have an individual mindset. But if individually we had a collective mindset, then we would certainly be able to aid Africa in her
All right,
rise,
so
my brother.
Skywalker, so just so we could come to a point of agreement, instead of you attempting to put the cart before the horse, why not focus on what's in front of you in the U.S. and develop your communities in the U.S.? Why not do that?
The
Okay,
reason
but
for
can I?
that, brother, because the issues, whether they are in Africa or whether they are here, are identical. The roots of those issues are identical. So, as a matter of fact, if Africa was to happen to get itself together right now, right, you would see immediately police violence stop. You would probably see hunger stop in the black community, because you want to know why? Because we would have our own chicken farms in Africa, ship them right on over here. If you catch my drift, brother, right? You wouldn't see
Skywalker,
police. Hold on.
just so
You
I'm
wouldn't
clear,
see police
brother.
violence. Hold on. You wouldn't see police violence. You want to know why?
Brother.
Because Africa could easily say, hey, look, you want to kill black people in the streets? Then no more resources for you, Africa. No more, I mean, America, no more resources for you. We're going to
Skywalker,
sanction
brother.
you now. So that's what I'm saying, brother. You need to
Please
understand the benefit of
let's have a
African unity
dialogue, brother.
and stop
You're attempting
denying
to preach.
African unity, brother. You are in
Skywalker,
denial. And people like you
okay,
need
now
to be
Skywalker,
left
you're
Can
attempting.
I
behind,
say
brother.
something? Can I say something
Skywalker,
real quick?
yeah, I'm gonna pass it.
Well,
I'm
no,
gonna pass it
no,
like
actually, I need to pass it to Cuddy because Cuddy is
all
calling
right,
from the
goddamn.
Go ahead, Cuddy.
Man, big salute, Don.
I'm gone, y'all. I'm gone. Holla at you.
Yeah, you gotta go, brother.
Big salute, panel. Big
Big
salute.
up, big up.
The topic: can Africa defend itself from Western attack? From what I'm seeing with my eyes, that I know y'all not seeing, yeah. These three countries can. The brother asked, I think Ant asked, what wars have these three brothers fought? When I say these three brothers, I mean Traore, Gichiani, and Goita. Man, they've been fighting against America for the past 10 years on the front lines. That's how eBay got his rank. That's how Goita got his rank. That's how Gichiani got to be the big general. They've been dancing with the devil. Y'all forget that America had the biggest drone base in the world in Niger, and they strong-armed it. So, don't let me forget. When the last time y'all heard anything from Langley? Yeah, y'all ain't heard about what happened with that situation.
They fired Langley.
They got rid of him.
Why?
They got rid of him.
Why did they get rid of him? No.
You tell me.
Because he posturing too much, man. You know what I'm saying? He ain't about the agenda.
No. He got some brothers killed out here, so they had to get rid of him.
Who got killed? Expand on that.
They caught him trying to sneak up from Nigeria before they could even get here, and knocked them off in Nigeria. That's why Nigeria been putting up a fuss, talking about they giving up on the North. They don't got no choice.
Hey, Cuddy, did Tinubu really say that?
Yeah.
Somebody else told me. I said send me the link, but they didn't send it to me. So Tinubu really said he giving up on the North?
I ain't gonna necessarily say he said them words, but yeah, he basically giving up on it because it's like I ain't gonna say a no man's land, but the tribes run it, the chiefs run it. You know how I go with the chiefs in Africa. At the end of the day, the chiefs, whatever the chiefs say, that's why all these chiefs in these three countries got together, and they told these brothers to come together. The chiefs gave Traore to go ahead and do what you gotta do, Traore. These boys don't want to do nothing but get drunk and trick off with strippers.
So we back to square one. We back to square one. We back to square one now.
No. We ain't back to square one. See where you at, and I agree with a lot that you say, but
no. And I agree with a lot that you say too.
Haven't even got to square one yet.
Nah, listen.
Our community in America hasn't even got to square one yet.
You're absolutely right, man. But what I'm trying to say is, okay, you're saying the chiefs the chief done told T- Tim whatever his name is, man. I can't say his name right now,
Say the
but you
leader
saying
because
the
it's
chief.
more than one. It's more than
No,
one.
I'm
It's a
saying Timbuktu or whatever his name is, man. The
Bro,
leader
just
of
make the point,
Nigeria.
brother. Make the point, brother.
All right. Hold on, mulatto. What I'm trying to say is, all right, you saying the Chiefs done put their foot down and say this is how we want it done, man. But the Chiefs don't really run nothing, man.
man. The
As far as
Chiefs
on the
run it. At the end of the
as
day,
far as on a global stage. All right, because this is what I'm trying to get at, man. This is what I'm trying to get at. Y'all, I mean, see, the only reason why I got a problem with y'all, you know what I'm saying, attacking the West as far as the white man this and the white man, because I live in America, man.
yeah, that's his
I,
playground, bro. I mean,
but wait, I need to feed my family. I need to eat, man.
yeah,
I need a systems to continue until I get to where I got to go to, man. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I feel
I
you
don't
on
want
that.
I don't want the damn bottom to fall out before I get to where I gotta go to, man. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all seem to not be worried about the 50 million black folks over here, man. That's all I'm concerned with,
I
man.
mean,
You
but
know what I'm
the
saying?
50 million
But
black folks in America got to be worried about themselves, bro. That's the
no,
problem.
we are worried about ourselves as far as the certain amount of us, but you know what I'm saying?
Ain't no unity in the community, bro.
When y'all finish conquering the white man, you know what I'm saying, is that gonna put y'all on top of the world stage? Or are you gonna have to answer to the Asian man?
You gonna have it's gonna be equal on this side. That's how they run it. That's how they want the world to do. That's why America and the West is battling bricks right now. That's what the big beef is.
So what are you telling me that the Asian wants to be equal with the black man, with the black race? The
They don't
Asian
got no
race wants to.
choice. They don't got no choice because Africa got the
All
resources that they need.
right. See, Diners, that's why I said I don't like to call up on these panels, man, because brothers are delusional, man. I
I'm
met
over
the.
here living it, bro.
No,
I've been on both
I
sides and I'm
understand.
living it.
I understand, man. But before the white man came through, the Asian man was kicking your ass, right? Yes or
Nah,
no?
they was all everybody was fighting at the same time.
No, but
The
the
black
Asian.
man, believe it or not, bro, they was all our
All right,
slaves
all right.
at
You know
first
what?
anyway.
This is
We
all cap.
created them.
This is all
We
cap,
gave
man.
them million over the earth, bro.
This
This
is
is part of history
so
that
the
everybody
black
seems
man,
to miss.
listen to what this brother said. The black man gave the Asian man the million over the earth.
The black man gave, yeah, the white, the
Oh my
non-melanated
god, bro.
individuals, yes.
Oh my
Well, that was a
god, bro.
mistake. That was a mistake. Then, if
Oh
that's
my
what you
god,
claiming y'all
man.
No,
did, that was a
because
mistake.
we can't
Oh my
manifest
god,
evil.
bro.
They can. We just take it to the next level. They can
Listen, man.
manifest evil.
Listen, man.
We can't.
Ev-
We got
everything,
compassion in our heart.
everything that y'all
That's why
brothers
they
are
kick us
saying,
in our ass. Too much
everything y'all
compassion.
brothers, everything y'all brothers is saying is cap. When I see y'all retake North Africa, man, then I believe in the black man in Africa, man. Until then, just go along with the program, man.
Now, that's a
Cause,
good
Ain't no
point, though.
going along with
That's
the
a good point.
no,
program.
no,
Y'all got to go
let me
along with the
finish, man.
program in the West.
Let me finish, man.
This where the
Everybody,
line draw that
every,
on this side.
you know what I'm saying? Black people are the first people to rise up and talk about stolen land. You know what I'm saying? America stolen land. You know what I'm saying? The Mexicans was here first. But you ain't trying to get back your stolen land, man. That's the damn concept I can't understand, man. You done let these damn Arabs take over the whole of North Africa, and meanwhile, Burkina Faso got 20 something million people. Niger got like what, about 30 something million people. Mali got like about 40 something million. You know how many people, you know how many Arabs in damn Egypt, man? About
It
150
don't
million
matter.
and all that shit, man. Yeah,
You
because
just talking about 3 countries. What about the West? And these 3 countries is 400 million, bro.
Well,
Yeah, Mali,
but can you
Niger,
you talking about the West?
Mali,
You talking about the
Burkina
West?
Faso, Mali, and
But
Niger.
hold on? But at least address the point that he made, though. Like, I mean, that is true. If you look at the entirety of North Africa, it's Arabians that's running it.
That's
So,
where
I
black
mean,
people mix with Europeans, bro. That's where you get the Arab from.
you
of
know
course,
what?
they're
You know what?
mulattoes. No,
Come on, man.
well,
Mulatto.
go ahead and make
These
your
You
point.
brothers,
don't know nothing about
these
history. You
brothers,
talking about
these
Arab.
brothers,
You talking
These
about
brothers,
Arabs got Islam.
mulatto. These
Where the
brothers don't
Arabs get
want to fight.
Islam from? You know,
These brothers
Arabs
don't want
and
to fight
Muslims
the
are two
real
different
problem,
things,
man.
right?
Y'all don't want to fight the real problem because y'all know these people is about it, man. See, you know what I'm saying? You can cry about America and the West all you want because they got a
The dude ain't no
democracy.
care. You
The
a
West got
slave.
a democracy. The
You a
West got a
slave, bro.
constitution, man. These
What did
people
you
ain't got
just
no
tell me?
constitution, man.
You just told
Muslims
me
ain't
you
got
gotta go to work and feed your family, right? That's slave talk, bro.
Arabs and Muslims ain't got no
Slave
constitution,
talk.
man.
I gotta
They
go
don't
to
care.
work
They
and
don't,
feed my family. You ain't got no
yo, man,
sacrifice in you, bro.
listen, man.
You ain't got no sacrifice in you.
Why now I ain't got no sacrifice in me, man.
Nah, you a slave, bro. You
A
got you when
slave
you
to what?
accept
A
that,
slave to
when you
who?
accept
A
that,
slave to who? A
then
slave to who?
us as a people we can get somewhere. Until black people accept that they
Okay, all right,
slaves,
all right.
they ain't gonna
Are
get nowhere in
you
America, bro.
willing? All right, I will unite with you if you will tell me, listen, man, let's go take
I
over North
realized I
Africa.
was a slave.
Are you willing to take over North Africa with me?
That's we ain't no taking over North Africa, bro.
Yeah, see, I'm done.
Yeah, why you want to address that, Cuddy? Really? I
Ain't no
mean, let's
taking
be
over
honest.
North Africa. In Africa, that's family. See, y'all in America think North African
You
and
see?
on this side is different. That's family.
Yo,
So hold on, just so
yo,
I'm clear. Hold on, let me
yo.
make this point. So, Cuddy, you saying that the Arabians that are literally enslaving sub-Saharan Black Africans right now, you saying they your family?
Yeah, we
It's black
family. They
people.
family.
It's black people enslaving black people.
Yo, bro. Like in
They
the famous
enslaving black people too. But
in the
hey,
front
that's
in
something
the
that
famous
slavery has been
words
going on since the beginning of the time. That ain't gonna
in the
change, bro.
in
You
the
Cuddy,
a
do you see
slave
famous
how?
right now.
Hold on, but Cuddy, do you see how sub-Saharan Africans are treated in North Africa? They don't treat
he know
sub-Saharan Africans like
that, man.
family. They don't treat them like
Yo,
family, brother.
Yeah, you
yo,
got
you
the
know what
Arabs
it is?
that don't treat the people
Man?
right.
You know what it is? They scared of these people, man. They scared of the Arabs, man. They scared of the Muslims, man. They scared. They terrified to death, man. I'm
That's what
telling
it
you,
seemed
man.
like.
And let's get something straight. Let me correct you. You need to live
Yeah.
by this, bro, because you make yourself look crazy. Arabs and Muslims are two different things, bro. Stop putting
No.
them together. Stop putting
So
them together.
who started the Muslim religion?
Sub-Saharan Africans.
Okay, all
You're
right, I'm done.
delusional, brother.
The
You're
Bible tell you
delusional.
that.
You're delusional. Then why
The
is the
Bible
holy
tell you
language of
that.
Islam Arabic?
It's all in the bloodline. The Bible tell you that.
Cuddy, I'm asking a question. Why is the holy language of Islam Arabic?
Because it's an African language.
So
And
why they
what's
didn't
closest
choose an
language to
African
Arabic? But
language?
let me ask you a question. What's the closest language to Arabic? Aramaic, what they speak in Ethiopia. Come
And
on, smart brother.
let's have a dialogue.
Get it together.
Aramaic.
Was
I'm trying to have
Ethiopia
it.
not continent? Was
Hold on. Let
Ethiopia?
me respond to him. Let me respond to him. Aramaic is spoken by mixed race Africans called.
Yes. Yes, they mix up Europeans and black people. Yes. Remember a couple panels ago when we were
You
talking
know
about
what?
the race mixing? That's something that's already been
So I'm
broken.
asking a
Ain't no
simple
fixing
question.
that.
So I'm
Ain't no
asking a
fixing
question.
that.
I'm asking a simple question. If
Yeah.
Islam is an African religion, why didn't
Yeah.
they choose an African holy language? Why did they choose an Asian Afro-Asiatic language, brother?
Because
As the holy
black people
language.
are Afro-Asiatic, my brother.
Afro-Asiatic people genetically are mixed
Yes.
race.
That's
Yo, let me tell
Genetically,
you.
Afro-Asiatic people are
everybody
mixed
mixed
race.
up, bro.
Let me tell y'all
That's
something,
not
man.
true.
Everybody mixed
Bantu.
up.
They got one of them.
Hold on. Let me hear the
Everybody
dialogue.
got
Hold on. Let me
something
hear the
in them.
dialogue with Cuddy. Cuddy, what you're saying is false. There are Bantu
That's
people in
not what I'm
Ethiopia right
saying.
now
It's
that are
in the
not mixed
holy
race.
scripture, bro.
Hold on, Cuddy. Let's
It's in
have
the
one mic at a
scriptures,
time.
bro.
All right, Cuddy, one
I ain't
mic at
gonna
a
tell
time,
you it's
brother.
false. Boy, you make yourself look crazy. And this is documented information. You could go back in history. Do your history, my young brother. Please do your history. The races has already been mixed. That's already happened. Ain't no fixing that. Yeah,
Ethiopia was
get them out of here.
Ethiopia was conquered twice, yo. First by the Jews, then by the Arabs, yo.
Nah, they was never conquered.
It was never conquered.
Hold on. My bad. I got a phone call. Cuddy, let me ask you a question. Are you aware that there are Bantu Ethiopians that are not mixed?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're
Did you
speaking
know
about
Bantu is the original tribe where all the tribes come from? Come on, step it up, brother.
yes, that's a deflection.
No,
Hold on,
that ain't
Cuddy.
a
Do you have
fiction.
ADHD, brother?
That's a level up. So level up, young man.
No, yeah, but I'm asking, do you have ADHD?
No.
Do you
Yeah,
have ADHD? Okay,
he
so
probably
we're
do.
speaking about the Arabic language right now. That's an
Yeah.
Afro-Asiatic language. The
And we
question
Afro
is, if
keyword Afro. Keyword Afro.
Asiatic,
Listen to the words you say.
Afro-Asiatic, that's a combination
Yes.
of both, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the
Yes.
question is,
We
if
all up and through there
Islam,
too.
and I think you got
Hmm?
ADHD, brother. Let's see if you got some decorum. The question is, if Islam is an African religion, why didn't they choose an African language as the holy language, brother?
You ever heard about the story of the Tower of Babel?
Oh man, come on, bro.
All right, are you
That's
able
in,
to answer
that's
the
in the
question,
Bible,
brother?
right? That's in the Bible, right? That's in the Bible. Okay, tell us the story of
Are you
Bible. Tell
able
us
to
the
Hey,
story
answer
of
the
Donis.
Bible.
question,
Hey,
brother?
Donis. Next time you go
Tell
to
us the story of
synagogue,
Bible. Tell
next
us the
time you
story
go
of
to
Bible.
synagogue, you ask about
Tell us
Tabascus.
the story of Bible, yeah.
I know you don't believe in Abraham and
But are
all
you
that.
able to answer the
I
question,
was, I
brother?
was, I was, I just celebrated the basket when I was there.
And what
There,
and what is that celebration for, my brother?
I know for Abraham, but that doesn't mean I believe in Abraham. But that's
Okay,
what they
but
celebrate.
tell us the story of Bible when humanity.
No. What's the answer to the question? Why
What's the
wasn't an
question?
African language chosen as the holy language of Islam if Islam is an African religion?
Yeah, mulatto,
Just like
mulatto.
every black
You
No,
person
no,
in
asking
the
the
no, no,
country
dumb
no, no. I got
question.
my
got a
foot on his
different
neck right
slang.
now, metaphorically.
They got
Now
a
go ahead,
different
Cuddy.
slang. Just like the people in Burkina Faso, in their mother tongue, they can communicate with the people in Ghana. It may be a little
Yes, but
different,
right now we're
but they
speaking
can
about Arabic,
communicate.
brother. We're speaking about Arabic right now, brother.
It's a lot of
I
people
know
that
you
speak
got
Arabic.
ADHD. Yeah,
It's a
we're
lot of
speaking
people
about
that speak
Arabic,
All
brother.
right,
Arabic.
The question is,
can I
Islam is one of is the major
can
religion
I
in
ask the
Africa,
brother?
bro.
Cuddy? Let me
and
ask you
why
a
is the
question.
holy language Arabic?
Cuddy, let me ask you a question, man. Let me ask you a
No,
question, man.
no, no, brother. A light bulb is going off in his brain. Let him answer. Go ahead, Cuddy.
There ain't no brain, man. Ain't no brain for no light bulb to
Let him
go
answer,
off,
brother.
man.
Hold on, John, please. Let Cuddy answer the question. If Islam is an African religion, why wasn't an African holy language chosen for Islam?
It was Arabic.
That's an Afro-Asiatic
So
language.
Africans and Arabs.
Keyword Afro.
So you
Mulatto.
saying, hold on, so just so we clear, you're saying Arabian people are African?
Yes, that's North Africa, bro.
So,
The Middle
so
East is North
hold on.
Africa.
So when Arabians, so just so we clear, so when Arabians took over North Africa, they didn't colonize you.
Who do
That's
you
their
think
land,
gave
right?
Arabs Islam, bro?
So Cuddy, just so we clear, when Arabians took over North Africa,
Abraham. It's documented. Come on, young brother.
yeah, no. So use your brain. So when Arabians took over North Africa, that means that was their land. They didn't colonize you, right?
Now, when the French and them came in, that's colonized. They was
No, I'm
already here.
asking
The word
about
was
the
out and they was
Arabians, brother. I
already
know you
here.
got ADHD. I'm asking, since you're saying Arabians are African, when Arabians took over North Africa, you're saying that they did not colonize Africa. That was their land to begin with, right?
They been here, bro.
Checkmate. All right, so Arabians
Yeah,
are
checkmate.
All right,
Africans.
all
Yeah,
right,
you
Yes,
all
right.
right,
and they have a
all
right
They
right.
to
been
take over
here.
your continent. I get it.
They've
All right.
been
They
all right,
not
all
they
right.
not the
Cuddy,
French. They not the Spanish. They not the British.
Cuddy,
Those are
Cuddy,
the
Cuddy,
colonizers.
Cuddy, can I ask you a
Cuddy,
question, Cuddy?
Cuddy.
Let
Hold
go ahead,
on, brother.
hold on, go ahead, Kwame. Go ahead, Kwame.
Do you know what the oldest Arabic language is in script?
Aramaic.
No, it's called Kufic, out of Kufa in Iraq. So we know exactly we know exactly where Islam come from. And for you to, I love you, brother. I respect everything you're doing. You're a Pan African brother. But for you to get up here and defend these Arabs that enslave and castrated Africans for over 1,000+ years, it's kind of disingenuous. That's one. And we know even after they converted to Islam, the Moroccan Empire went down to Sahel and still enslaved the brothers down there in the Sahel country. So we cannot say Islam is African. We know the Quran was written in Arabic. Arabic is not an African language. We know the Arabic script don't come from Africa.
we know that Africans pray to Mecca. They don't pray to no Sahel countries or nowhere in Africa, and no Arab in Yemen, Arabia, Syria, Iraq will ever tell you they African, brother. So we got to stop playing these game and defending certain religions because we
They will
subscribe to
tell
them.
you they African all the way to Egypt, my brother.
But
They
even the brothers, the two brothers that the two brothers that was serving the dude, the camel boy that started Islam, they were servants to his ass, man.
Even when you read the Hadith and they calling Africans raising heads and stuff like that, and we could wear
Come on,
out
man. We know what it
Taberi,
is, man. We know
and
what
they
it is,
say
man.
that the African race come from a slave race, brother. We can't defend stuff like that, brother. You may be
Yo,
a Muslim, I respect that,
it's
alhamdulillah, whatever.
tools.
we not a Muslim,
We
man.
But
tell from
Islam ain't
bracelet to
African,
service
brother.
tool, bro.
Huh?
Yo, let me tell
Yeah,
you something, man. Let
You
me tell
got
you
you
first of
something.
gotta
all,
Cuddy,
first,
you gotta accept
hey,
something.
hey, hey.
Go
We
ahead,
tell
First of
from
Hakim.
all,
loyalty
yeah,
to
yeah. First of
servitude.
all, Arabic is not an Afro-Asiatic language. It's a Semitic language. Languages like Hausa, Somalis, those are Afro-Asiatic languages. So you got to classify it right. And you're right, Kwame. Somebody like Bilal, who was a slave given to Muhammad by Abu Bakr, who was an Ethiopian, and they call him a raisin head. He was just out there to call people to prayer. When the Muslims were sleeping and then relaxing, he would wake up first, go at the top of the house, and then shout at the top of his lungs and call everybody to pray. He was a slave to Muhammad. It wasn't our religion. We didn't start the religion, so we
exactly.
can't be spreading false information on the platform. But look, I like when Pamela always talk about why don't you go to Africa? People always say that silly shit. Look, first of all, like that, the brother said, everybody don't have the same resources, and everybody can help in the same manner than the other people. If you can help with $5, if you can help with just your voice, if you can help with just whether it's education, maybe you have some specialty and you can help. It can be virtual. You don't have to be on the ground to help people. For example, right? Donnie's is doing a couple of things. I think he's built a lab, computer lab. He's not there on a day to day, but he's helping. But he resides in the United States. There's other people who's doing the little things to help on the content. So this idiotic argument that you have to be there. If you want to help, why aren't you there? That's not a got you thing. People can help in their own ways. But this whole thing that Cuddy is saying, look, Cuddy, the reality is Abraham Traore and those other guys were not fighting the United States. When you said they were fighting the United States for 10 years, it's just not true. They were in collaboration with the United States to try to fight against terrorism. And in most instances, like what we saw in northern Nigeria, most of these terrorists, one second, Cuddy. Most of these governments and high ranking officials in these governments are actually complacent in terrorism in their own country because usually they're Islamists themselves and they're working in collaboration covertly with these Islamic jihadist groups. So that's why it wasn't effective. But they wasn't fighting against the United States. And right now, the issue that they have on the ground that Traore is trying to fight to get his country back from the Islamists, jihadists, is the same thing that the American government was trying to help him with. Of course, the American government might need some, intel, and they might use your airspace, and they might get some benefit from that whole region by using your country as a base. But to say that they were fighting against the Americans and that's where they got their comeback experience from is just not true, brother. So overall, I think Africa, we lack the capacity to raise, resources, through funds, like we was talking about on college show last night. You have to tax your citizens. You have to maximize, the taxes of your citizens, and give them the best service you possibly can, whether that's militarily, economically, or socially. You have to do that. In Africa, we don't collect taxes well. We're not efficient when it comes to collecting taxes and utilizing that money to its maximum capacity to bring, services and, to the African people. So, I mean, I just want to say that, first of all, the Arabs are not our brother country. They don't like us.
I
They
didn't say
hate
our
us.
brother, I said our
Thank
cousins.
you.
And I
Thank
said
No,
you.
they're
Thank
Muslims.
not.
you.
They're
Man.
I
not even
wasn't
our
done defending
cousins.
Arabs.
They're not our
I
cousins.
said
They
Muslims. It's
separate
different.
themselves from us. The term sub-Saharan, Saharan is
Yeah,
to
the
tell you that
Arabs
those
do.
people. I know, I hear you, right? Those people beneath the Sahara Desert are not our people. They're different than us, and anything up, below that region, they're beneath us. That's why that term is even offensive, like Dennis was saying. So please,
Elvis,
man,
can I
don't.
just make? Elvis, can I just
Yeah,
make
go
a
ahead.
Let
one
me
Go
let
ahead.
me
one
let me
thing? They'll
let me
call
say
a
something.
Africa. They will
Let me
call
say
an
something.
Africa. hold on. They will call an African to their face abid. That literally translates to slave from the Arabic language. So you
Let me
can't get up. You please don't get up here and call no Arab our cousins, no brothers. We have no
I
connection to
said
no Arabs.
Muslims,
Well,
hold on,
not the
hold on.
we ain't
Don't
cousins with
take
no
don't take
Muslims
me out of
either.
context. Don't put words in my
Hold
mouth.
on, hold
You
on.
said Arabs are our cousins.
I need Cuddy.
I
I need
said
Cuddy
the
to cut.
people in North
Cuddy,
Africa
Cuddy,
are our cousins,
Cuddy,
and
Nah, they
Cuddy,
they they they
Muslims
not
Cuddy.
and
our
Arabs
cousins.
is different.
No, they
Hold on,
just
hold on,
they
hold on.
the Arabs from North Africa destroyed all the empires in West Africa.
Let me,
Songhai
let me, let me
and the
kill,
rest of them.
man.
Timbuktu, they took over the Malian Empire. They
Let
enslaved
me kill.
the kings. They took over Eastern Africa in Tanzania.
He
The
knows that.
Islamic
Go
side
ahead,
of
go
He
ahead,
yeah,
know
he
all
knows
let
that
some
John
shit.
shit.
get.
He know all that.
Yeah,
Let me
John,
tell Cuddy,
yeah,
man.
go ahead, get in there.
Cuddy, you need to come back to America, man. You need to
Nah.
come back to America, and you need to go in some of these. You need to come
Why
in
you a
some of these
Fat,
other.
Pav trying to pull
No,
me
fat.
hold
back
on,
in
hold on,
money?
hold on, hold
Nah,
on,
you
Come to
can't say
America.
that.
hold on,
I support
hold
what
on,
he's
Hey,
hold
doing
on,
in
hold
Africa,
on.
brother. The
come back
only
to
thing is his
No,
America.
no,
history
hold
is
on,
wrong.
hold on, hold on,
Rest of
hold on,
them being
You going
hold
crazy
on.
like it? All
You
Come
right.
need
back,
to come back
come,
to America, Cuddy.
Man,
no,
Come be
no,
with your
no.
people, brother.
hey,
Hold on,
I'm in
come back
God's
to
hands and I'm
no.
in the motherland,
Let me
baby.
finish. Let me finish. Let
Can't
me
none of
finish,
y'all
man.
convince me to
Let
come
me
back to
finish. Let me
America.
finish, man.
All the
Let me finish,
chastisement
man. Let
y'all
me
got
finish,
going
man.
on right
Let
now.
me finish, man. Let me finish, man.
You don't see the doom that's
All
upon
right,
all
but hold
y'all
on. Let me finish,
heads,
man.
and
Let
it's
me
all
finish,
in
man.
front of your face. And you talking about come back
Listen,
to America?
listen. We all doomed. We all doomed, man. But let me tell you something, man. Why you caping for these Arabs, man?
Oh
Come back,
shit!
come back to
I'm not
America and
caping
come
for
in.
the Arabs.
Come,
I'm caping for the Muslims.
all right,
Them,
come back to the inner
Muslims and
city.
Arabs, two
Come
different
back to
things.
the inner city. Come back to the inner city in America
Nah, cause
and see how.
you'll be food for me if I come back. And I be
All
eating
right,
you
man.
every day.
All right, man.
People
All right,
just
man.
want you.
Pause,
All right.
pause, pause,
Let
pause.
me ask
Yeah,
you one
mulatto,
question.
you too.
Let me
I
ask
be
you one
eating you
question.
Pause.
time.
I don't get
That's some
eaten by men.
serious
I
shit.
got 3 wives.
On some
I don't get
serious
eaten
shit,
by
man.
men. I got 3 wives.
Hold on, hold
You'll
Respectfully.
on,
be
hold
food
on,
for
hold
me,
on, hold on, hold
somebody
on.
like me.
On some
So
serious
I
shit,
don't
man.
need to be in America. I need to be getting
All
my
right,
mental health
all right, all right, all right. Cuddy, let
and
me
my
ask you,
healing in Africa. Because I would be a
All right, but
danger.
let y'all
Cuddy,
ask this question. Go ahead, y'all.
Cuddy. Let me ask you a serious question, man.
I wouldn't be
How
on
does
panels.
all right? How did this all start in Africa, man?
How did all
Do
what
you
start? What you mean?
do you recognize the Kemet Empire or the Egyptian Empire? Do you recognize that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
That's young Africa. The old
okay,
Africa is really South Africa.
young
Up
Africa,
south.
young Africa,
Cape
young
Town.
Africa, young
Johannesburg.
Africa. Okay, let me
Where the
finish, man.
Tribe of Judah from.
Yeah, yeah. Let John make his point, please, because I'm trying to get in next. Go ahead, brother.
All right, it's Ant talking, man. Yo, young Africa let these Arabs on the coast come through with their trading posts. And, you know what I'm saying? Eventually they came through, you know what I'm saying, and they became queens and kings of Egypt and all that, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And y'all fought them, and y'all fought them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all kept on letting them back in, you know what I'm saying? And then y'all fought them some more, and they kept on coming back in until eventually in the days of Tahakada and Shabakata and all these other warriors from Sudan, you know what I'm saying? They couldn't hold it down with the Assyrians, so they had to let that shit go, man. That was about 640 something BC, man. You know what I'm saying? After that, after that, after that, the Persians came through. After the Persians came through, this the Greeks came through. After the Greeks came
Everybody, the
through,
Chinese, the Romans, the Turks,
no,
everybody ran through Africa, bro.
before the Chinese came through, the
Everybody.
Romans came through, and after that, the
Everybody. The
Arabs came
British, the
through
French,
in full
everybody,
force.
bro. The Portuguese, everybody, bro. The
But
Spanish.
what I'm
Anthony,
trying to,
I understand your
It's the
point. The point
motherland.
is
what
Africa
I,
the
what I,
feed the
point is
world.
these Semitic
hold on, let
people
me finish, let me
always been an
finish.
enemy to Africa. They've always been an
Hold on,
enemy to Africa.
what I'm trying to say to this brother, man. You played around with these Arabs and these Muslims for 2,000 years, and when they finally ran up your ass and got the best of you, you decided to become Muslim and say, yeah, they my brother now.
Paul, we don't,
So
ain't no running
look,
up, no
the other half
Paul.
of their family
right.
is doing you the same way. They got you enslaved in America, but you just a
Okay, so
comfortable
turn it back
slave.
on the white man. The white man only had us enslaved for 400 years, though.
Didn't I just tell you the Arabs are half? That's where the Europeans and the Africans mix blood. That's where you get your Arabs.
Oh, yeah. So what
That's
are
not
you
even
saying?
true. Who told you that, brother? That's not true.
You saying the
How it's
Arabs
not
is up?
true?
So the Arabs is our brother, but the white
Cuddy,
man.
you embarrassing yourself, Cuddy. You
Yeah,
Yeah,
embarrassing
the
you know,
yourself.
and
Arabs. The
Arab is not an ethnic group. Arab just means somebody who dwells in the desert. It's not an ethnic group. A black person, black as you and I, could be
Okay, Mr.
Arab in
Specific.
what he's
Arabic means
saying,
a
what
desert
he's saying,
dweller.
No,
That's all it
the
means. It's
the
not an
Arabs,
ethnic group.
The
the Arabs.
mulattoes
I
in
gotta
North
pass
Africa.
the mic to Two Niger. Go ahead, Two Niger. Go ahead, Two Niger. Go ahead, Two Niger. Unmute yourself, Two Niger. Let me pass it to Pharaoh. Go ahead, Pharaoh. Go ahead, Pharaoh.
Yeah. Peace. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes, peace. Yeah, I was listening to the conversation. Yeah, I agree that the Arabs and including the Muslims as well are not our brothers as in as culturally Black Africans. The Arabs are definitely different from us, and they are our enemies. And I see the Black Muslims as well as the Christians as traitors, who wish to side with Arabs and followers of the Abrahamic faith. And that right there is never going to get us anywhere. Now, I know the brother mentioned that it all started in Egypt, and if it all started in Egypt or Kemet, then that's what we need to get back to. Okay, because when we claim Kemet or ancient Egypt, then it will be mandatory. It's going to be mandatory for us to take power and reclaim our greatness and glory.
Exactly.
Yes, and that's why a lot of people don't. That's why you have a lot of people in the community. Especially the Abrahamic followers who deny, who try to deny Egypt at all costs. And because with Egypt, if you claim Egypt, a great responsibility comes with it. And until Black people reclaim ancient Egypt or Kemet, then nothing real is never going to happen for us, because ancient Egypt is as real as it gets when it comes to power. Long before the Assyrians, long before the Persians, long before the Greeks, long before the Romans, the ancient Egyptians were the superpower of the world. That's what you have to understand. The Greeks, the Romans, the Assyrians, they all were motivated and inspired by the ancient Egyptians. And we know for sure that those were Black African people. And that's what we have to reclaim. And we have to see these Bible followers and these Abrahamic followers and these Muslims as the enemies, because this is a war taking place between the Bible followers and the descendants of slaves, which they call us Hamites. So we have to wake up and acknowledge our ancestors and see the real enemy for the real enemy. So this is a war that is initiating, but we have Negro traders who have mixed up loyalties and do not know what side they want to be on. This is a war between the Israelite, Abrahamic, Christian, Bible followers against the people of Pharaoh. Okay? You're either one or the other. Other than that, you're just a nobody. So
And
we have
Pharaoh,
to wake
Thank you, brother.
my
Thank
bad.
you,
Go ahead,
brother.
brother.
Thank you, brother.
And I
Thank you for saying
and
that,
I
brother.
get his point. And
Whose turn is it?
No, it's
go
Two
ahead.
Niger.
It's you too, Nigel. Go ahead.
It's Two Niger. Go ahead, Two Niger.
Thank you, Dinah. Thank you for having me, and greetings to all the panelists, the chat, and the viewers. I think this times clearly is illustrating the problems that come from when the people fail to protect their lives. And literally, that's what we are not doing. We are not protecting our lives, our children, our women, our inheritance. We don't protect it. Ghana doesn't have one jet fighter. Can you imagine a country of 30-something million people doesn't have one jet fighter at all? And barely any military. I think the last time I checked, it was 15, which is one soldier to 2,000 people. You see that in many African countries. We definitely, if I'm going by the topic, we definitely are unready to defend ourselves. Our saving grace, make no mistake, and I said that the first time I came on all these online platforms. I said our saving grace is the fact that African Americans are in America right now, because that is the only thing that will give them pause and think, whom are the soldiers we are going to send to do this? The African Americans that are going to be killing Africans, that's not going to work out very well. And if only African Americans know the power that they wield, maybe they will leverage it a little bit more. That is the only thing. Because if you look at Africa right now, the 3 North African countries have almost as much soldiers as the bottom 40-something Black African countries. They definitely spend more than the vast majority of Black African countries. 3 of them spend about $40 billion already, while Nigeria is spending $4 billion. The others are just a joke. Maybe South Africa will amount to something. So we are not even close to protecting ourselves. It's quite remarkable that a nation can go on like that and we pretend as if we are like other nations. We are not. We are not like other nations. Our people, in a way, are still semi in some kind of bondage where they've decided not to act, to take over their own territories. It's very, very obvious to see. If you look at even pathetic countries, small countries, even Qatar we were talking about today that was just, Iran tried to attack today, has more, and they're about 2-point-something million in population. They have more jets than many African countries put together. That tiny country, 2-point-something million. Why is it that they do that? Qatar has not been to war for a very long time. Why is it that other people protect their lives? Why we don't protect ours till today? I don't know, but if you look at this topic, it's clear. Western countries are too much now. It's just Arab countries. Can we even defend ourselves from Arab countries? We can't even defend ourselves from Arab countries. If Egypt decides to float into Nigeria right now with their jets, and what are we going to do? Throw rocks? What are you going to do? What's his name? Ghana will not even lift off the ground. They will not bother. They don't have missiles and they don't have aircrafts.
Well, man, ask to Niger, why you don't go to Nigeria and Elvis go to Liberia and help develop some type of mechanism so that you can help protect your countries in Africa? Or in other words, how will African nations ever defend themselves if Africans keep fleeing Africa in mass numbers to live in the U.S.?
Why you not in Lord to helping the Black community take it back from the so-called tethers? Why are you in Puerto Rico and not helping your so-called people, reclaim back Lordton? Why
All right,
you
I'm
in
gonna
Puerto
answer your
Rico?
question. Can you answer mine? I'll answer your question if you answer mine.
My own question.
No. Let me have a dialogue with it, brother. Hold on. Let me have a dialogue with it, brother. If I answer your question, will you answer mine, Kwame?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. I own real estate in Laurelton. I was literally just there for Juneteenth. All right. So back to my question: why aren't Africans actually in Africa helping to develop Africa and protect Africa instead of running to live under the white man's nuts in the U.S. like you and your family did? Respectfully.
I'm not from the continent of Africa.
Come on,
Or the
can we
Caribbean, Kwame. Why you
can we
don't?
stop? Can we stop
Two.
derailing the conversation, man?
Hold on, I'm trying to have
Come
a dialogue with the
on, man.
brother Kwame. Brother, why you not in the Caribbean helping to develop your Caribbean nation instead of fleeing to
Two.
the U.S.
Two.
to live
Two.
under the white man's nuts? Let's
Two
go.
people. Two. You don't know
Yeah,
what
it
people are
ain't-
doing to help develop Africa. People are
don't
coming
Yes,
answer
from
but
the.
don't
answer the
answer
question, brother. I answered yours. Now answer mine, brother.
don't answer
Why you
the
not in the
question,
I
man.
just
Caribbean?
answered. I just
It
answered your
No,
ain't where
I
you
question,
asked you
from.
about
brother.
the
It ain't.
Caribbean, brother.
It's
I just
not where
Brother,
you
answered your
from. It's
Jobs,
where
question.
you
please.
at, man.
But you
I'm
derailing the
trying to have a dialogue
conversation.
with Kwame.
It's not where
No,
you
you
from. It's
derailed the
where you at,
conversation and
man.
you don't like the mirror. Hold on,
Okay,
Come
Josh.
on,
Hey, relax
I
for a
don't
son.
know
second.
who
Come
gave you
on, son.
permission to start having a dialogue when I was
Go ahead,
having my own
Go ahead,
silly.
Niger.
Yeah,
Go
So
ahead.
yeah, Kwame
yeah,
running from that question.
so
Why you not in the
Paul,
Caribbean helping to develop
okay,
your slum?
can you stop disrupting the
All
conversation? You're just
right,
stunting
go
the
ahead.
conversation right now.
I go ahead to you,
So
Naj. I'm gonna get back
All
on
right,
Kwame in a
Tunaja,
minute. Go ahead.
no,
Tunaja.
yeah, yeah.
Let me say something real quick, man. Let me say something real quick. This is the point. This is the abstract of the argument, man. And this is what black men is not understanding, man. The problem is not what you think it is, man. The problem is nobody respects you because you haven't fought for what you supposed to be fighting for, man. Now I keep coming back to this North Africa concept, man, because the last time we fought for North Africa was in 600 and something BC, man. When Taharqa, the King Taharqa withdrew. You know what I'm saying? And Egypt fell after that, man. Yo, we need to constantly keep putting pressure on North Africa. We got to take back that territory, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how the
No,
world
I
gonna
hear your
respect
point,
us.
brother, but that's for Africans to do. And this discussion applies to the Caribbean as
Man,
Yo,
they
well.
were not referring to you. They were not
Mulatto,
referring to you.
respectfully,
You don't have to
you
answer
want a pan
everybody.
African
Hold on,
channel.
with all due
See,
respect, so
Yeah,
let's
you
have
could
a
take
this is what
that
dialogue.
I
to a
Don't
was
be
saying.
FBA.
triggered.
We are just
You could
making
take that
noise
to a
now.
FBA channel, but this is a
Yes,
pan
Right,
but
this is
African
what I
Kwame,
was
channel.
saying. Let's not just start making
all
noise.
right,
You are
Yeah, this is
Tunaji,
making
you
a
go. I'm gonna
making
go
noise
after you.
here.
Go ahead, Tunaji, because
Let me
you
this is
first
see
a
of all,
pan
Kwame
African
nervous right
channel.
now.
Nah,
You
this is
see
a pan
Kwame
African
nervous.
channel. No, this is a pan African
Yeah,
channel.
but
So you
Kwame,
could
why you
go
not in the
FBA channel
Caribbean?
now.
down. First of all, you have to take
I
take
go ahead,
over the
Tunaji.
territories. First of all, you have to take over the territories that you are on right now. If you don't know how to protect it, then what's the point of going to North Africa? We don't control the territories we are sitting on right now. We have to take control of it, secure it, then you can look at how you can expand outward towards North Africa. So that is the way to go about these things. And the idea that Africans should deal with the African problem, that is the mistake we keep making. You see, the Western powers, say whatever you like about them, they do know how to cooperate, my God. They do know how to cooperate. And this is why they win all the time. Look at how closely they are working together. Even when one side breaks the rules, they will forgive that side and line up behind that side. When Trump attacked Iran, many of them say, "Oh, they don't like it. They don't." Before 2 days, they already backing him. Oh yeah, the other one saying he's doing our dirty work. This is how they behave. They cooperate with each other all the time. And when they tell some African Americans, "Oh, you need to cooperate with Africa," and Africans should cooperate with African Americans, including the people in the Caribbean, South America, the whole family needs to coordinate themselves, because this war right now, the West are experts at coordinating themselves. As a matter of fact, I think they coordinate themselves better than the Asians, and that's why they win.
Tonight, you going off the rail, man. Why you
Right.
mention South? Why you mentioning South America, man?
Why should I
Brother,
mention South America?
they
Are
just
black people not in
deflect
South
because they
America?
don't want to address their failures.
Hold on a second. Hold on a
Are
second,
black
man.
people not in South America? What are you
Hey,
going on about?
I
Anthony, is
agree.
Guyana not in
I
South
agree.
America?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But Guyana is a part of the Caribbean.
Is Suriname not in South America?
Brazil, they are
Yeah,
part
Exactly.
of
So
the
yeah.
Kwame, why you not in the Caribbean? Hold on, one mic, one mic.
Hold
Hold on,
on.
John. The
Let me
question
kill this
is,
brother. Let me kill
why
this
you
brother's
not in
point,
your
man.
country helping to develop it?
Hold on. Let me
But let
kill
them
that
answer
brother's
that,
point,
brother.
man. Because
Hold on,
Guyana
John.
is
Let them
part
answer that. Let them answer that.
Guyana is part of South America, but every year they
It's
march in
Suriname.
they march in the Africa they march in the what's in the day
In the
parade
Caribbean parade. They in the Caribbean parade.
every other Caribbean country, man, because they
Exactly.
don't identify with South America. They're not Spanish, man. They
Exactly.
African, man.
So the
And
question is,
notice.
brother, we got the point, brother. So the question is, Kwame, why you not in the Caribbean? Because y'all under the
Look,
Commonwealth
Kwame,
right
Why
now. Y'all got the
don't
you
rights.
want to
answer
cut
this.
somebody off
Don't
when they
answer
speak
this
a moment?
Yeah,
non-black
run
man
from
stupid ass
that.
question, bro.
Hey,
Don't
guy,
answer
So
this stupid question.
hey, guy, let me pass. I gotta pass the mic to Aries. Go ahead, Aries. Let me yourself, Aries.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, Aries. Go ahead, Aries.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to jump on topic. I'm going to say the problem with Africa is that, you know, everybody wants to say like, you know, they they're too weak or their military is not as strong and all these things. But the main problem that Africa has and it's always going to have is that it's too diverse, you know, because nobody can literally claim one piece of land and say this is my land. Everybody knows in each African country there's multiple tribes, multiple ethnic groups, multiple people with power in that country. Therefore, it's impossible for them to try to mimic something like America, where it's just, the Anglo-Saxon Americans, the white people that are in charge. They killed everybody and then they made sure that they're in charge. Whereas in
How many
Africa,
how many tribes in Europe?
in Europe,
Yeah.
Kwame, the brother is right. Europe
hold
identified
on, hold on.
mostly as a race rather than tribes, bro. We gotta see that too far as
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Africans.
In Europe, there's Vikings, there's Slavs, there's
Brother, that's a deflection, brother. You making a good point. Just keep making a good point, brother. Don't let them derail
It's
you.
not a good point. There are a lot
okay.
of tribes in the UK too. It's just because you don't hear about it doesn't mean you have the Cornish, you have the Scottish, you have the Irish, the Burmese. There are different
Yeah.
groups,
Yeah,
Hold on.
but they
Well,
don't
the
talk about it
UK.
because
no,
Hold
but
on.
yes,
The
we have
difference
but
is the
different groups
difference
in the
is
UK.
well, the
let's
difference
talk
is the
about
UK has a military that can protect its
Can I
country.
finish?
You all in
Can I
Africa don't.
finish?
Yeah,
Go,
but
go
you're
ahead,
not
Aries.
Let's
saying
talk
that.
Let
You're not
about.
Aries
talking
finish his
about
point.
diversity.
Can I just finish?
Yeah, let Aries finish his point.
That was a good. That was a good thing. You brought up how many tribes Europe has. That's true, but it's like the difference is that they can at least share language with each other. Even Africans from South Africa can't really communicate with people in, in parts of East Africa. Like that's the one of the main problems
Aries,
as
do you
well.
know
That
what
that,
mutual
that
intelligence? Do you know what mutual intelligibility is?
Yeah,
Okay, before we talk
Yes,
about
but
that,
but
that has
make
to
the
do with
point. Make the
let
language,
point,
me
brother.
and
let
then
me
people can understand each other in their
let
own
me ask
respective
y'all
languages.
let me ask y'all a realistic question, man. What's the only continent? What's the only continent on this planet that got more countries than everybody else? Yeah.
But it's Africa, man. This is not a trivia show, man. We
No,
know these basic
not
questions.
Asia,
West.
of course,
No,
it's Asia.
not West Africa. Africa in a whole, man. Africa got 54. Africa got 54, 55 countries, man. If
Brother,
you
the
go to
point is
Google,
this, and I'm gonna ask the
if you
gentleman
go, hold
on
on,
the
let me
panel.
finish,
You
man.
got
Let me
two
finish,
Africans
man.
and you got a Caribbean on the panel. Why y'all not in
Can
y'all
I
countries
finish?
helping to develop it since
But
y'all
Who,
claiming to be
Pamela, you
who,
weak?
don't
who's
identify
the
as black. You say you a
Yes, but
mulatto.
what's the answer to
Why
the
you not a
question?
Hold on.
mulatto?
Your questions
Yes,
are
but
irrelevant,
I
and
know
we're
you're
going to
triggered
dispose
because
of
Your
you're
it.
answer
weak.
kind of
You're not a
irrelevant.
black
You're
man.
not
You
black.
can't
Hold on.
ask us
You're not
anything. You
black.
Yes,
have
You
no
don't
interest in this
identify as
conversation.
mulatto.
You're just here to be a
yes, but
supremacist.
what's the answer though?
You're not
Yeah, we
black, so
got
your
no
point is
regard for you, brother.
irrelevant.
You're irrelevant.
All right,
You're
but what's the
not
answer?
black. You
Because
don't
the Chinese are
identify as
taking your
mulatto.
resources.
Mulatto.
Yes, but the Chinese are
Who?
taking your resources. So what's the
All
answer?
right,
Why
but
y'all not
hold
down
on,
there
Thank you.
helping
mulatto,
to
Thank you
develop
for
it?
mulatto,
telling us.
mulatto.
Thank you for telling us. But
Hey,
Yeah, so
hold
what are you
on,
going to
but
do
you
to
don't
stop it,
hold
bro?
identify as
on.
black.
Mike Elvis,
Sorry.
you got a lot of background noise, Elvis. You called it on your Obama phone, Elvis. You can't be calling on
Yes,
your
and
Obama phone. You know better.
before everyone gets triggered, the question is, since you're claiming your countries are weak, why aren't you in the Caribbean, Kwame, and why aren't
Forget
Tunaj and
all
Elvis
that.
in
Forget all
Africa
that.
strengthening,
You talking
strengthening?
Mulatto,
gibberish,
dude.
man.
You said
Mulatto, you
Yeah,
talking
but
you
gibberish,
said
man.
previously you
it's a
You
don't
valid
talking
question.
identify.
gibberish, man.
Hold on.
How do you
So
know
I
we are
guess
not in Nigeria?
the resolution is
Hold on.
just keep running them away.
Let me
You
answer your
keep
But
asking
question.
your stupid ass question. We're not going to answer your question, brother.
yeah, but
Yeah,
You're
when you gonna
irrelevant to
fix
the
your country?
conversation. You're
yeah,
not
All right,
you're
go
black.
ahead,
irrelevant.
Kwame.
We
We
don't owe
listening.
you any explanation, so you can shut the
You owe
fuck
your
up
You
people
a
help.
mulatto.
and
Checkmate.
let us talk to other black
You
men,
owe
not
your
you.
people help. Checkmate.
We don't owe anybody anything. You
You
can't tell us
abandoned
what
them.
we owe anybody, bro. Sit your ass in Puerto Rico, stay there with the mixed breeze, and just shut your mouth. This is a black platform.
Thank
You don't
you.
consider
Thank
Yeah.
you.
yourself
So
black.
what's the
You have
answer?
no
And
relevance here,
when will
brother.
you go help your
Thank
people?
you. Because
All right, next person.
every time we try to get to real conversation, this dude is like, oh, why you not in your country doing this and that? Forget all that shit, man. It ain't where you from, it's where you at, like Rakim said, man. You know what I'm saying? If you
All
in
right, but let
America,
them answer the question though,
all right,
brother.
but hold
We're not
on,
answering your
family.
question. It's a question that is
So
going
you ran away
nowhere.
from your
So
people
we're
and you
not
gonna cry on the
answering your
internet
All
when
question,
they
right.
weak.
brother.
My question is,
So
Somebody
you
you
else
gonna
know
can
what?
come
cry
in
on
the
the internet
conversation.
about your
We're not
country
answering
being
your
weak?
questions.
All right, you know
Well,
We're
what the
not
can you make a
answer
answering your
statement?
questions.
Yeah, well,
the
we'll move
answer
forward. I'm
the
gonna
answer
make a statement. Hold
the,
on, brother. Doc, please
Why
mute
did
up.
your mother lay with a white man? Why did she find herself a black man to lay with?
all right. The answers
Both
to the
my parents are
question
mulattoes.
is
Checkmate. Yeah,
the
both my
answers
parents are
to the
mulattoes.
question
Yeah,
Checkmate.
is
why did your
the
grandparents
answer
live with
Hold
white
on,
people
the
Ja.
then?
Ja,
answer
what are you
the
doing,
answer
Ja? Ja, hold on
yo
for a second, please. Now the point is this:
mulatto.
I'm gonna make a statement. The
No,
point is,
tell
you
us why your
Caribbean and
grandparents
Africans
live
will
with white
cry
people,
on the
brother.
internet. You'll cry on the internet about your country being weak, but you won't go back to
Why
fix
did
them.
your grandparents live with white people who enslaved them?
My grandparents are
But
mulattoes. Checkmate.
Now you now you
Checkmate.
lying now.
My
Look at this
grandparents are
asshole.
mulatto.
Elvis,
Checkmate.
This is a
Elvis,
liar. We don't even
Elvis,
take you seriously,
Elvis,
bro. You're a liar. My
Elvis,
grandparents
stop
are mulatto. My
underselling the
parents are mulatto. I'm
flavor.
mulatto. You know
Stop
what mulatto
underselling
means,
the
you
flavor.
idiot? It means
Yes,
you're
they
both
are.
white and black. One
Hold
parent
on.
is
Stop
white, one parent
Yes,
is
black.
black.
Yeah.
hold on,
That's
man.
what
Hold on.
mulatto means, you
Okay.
idiot
So I
Please
and
answered
a
your
do.
question.
liar.
I
You
bet you
sound
won't
like
answer
a
Please
mine.
white
do.
boy.
Elvis,
I knew it.
Yes. But the
You don't
question
know
is,
what
will we
mulatto
go help
means.
your
He's just
country?
talking nonsense.
Elvis, don't let this
Yes,
white
your
man,
grandkids will be
don't let this
mulattoes.
white
Checkmate.
man work you
Hold
Yeah, I
over.
mean,
on.
he just
Hold
talk a
on.
bunch of
Elvis,
BS and
Elvis,
lies and think
Elvis,
he's doing
Elvis.
All
some
right.
kind of gotcha shit.
He on
But
a
now
Your
this
Just
tangent.
stay,
He on
grandparents
a
can't
just
be
stay,
mulatto and your
tangent.
parents are
oh
mulatto. They'll
yes, they'll
probably be an
trigger.
octoroon or a maroon. What are
Yo,
you
this
talking
just
But
this
about,
they'll
stay,
man?
trigger.
this
just stay,
mulatto
So
who
the
don't
just
even
question
stay
is,
identify.
on,
Hold on. This
just stay on
mulatto
the
who
all
don't
right.
topic
But
even
the
of
question is
identify
this:
as
Palestine.
black is on a
so you
Pan
gonna
African
cry on the
channel
internet
Stop
about the
playing.
country
asking
being weak, but you
questions.
won't go help them?
Stop
Tell us why
asking
So
questions.
you gonna
why your
cry on the
grandparents
internet?
live with white people
Solutions,
who
man.
enslaved them. Tell us
Now
that.
Elvis, now Elvis,
Tell
I'm gonna
us
answer
why
your
your
question if you answer
grandparents
mine.
live with white people since they were mulatto.
I'm gonna answer your question if you answer mine.
No,
Could
no,
we
no,
make
no.
a deal,
You
Elvis?
tell me why your grandparents live with white people. Then tell me why your parents live with white people to have you.
Well, both my parents are mulattoes. Checkmate. But if I answer your question, will you answer mine?
Why your
Don't run.
grandparents live
I'll
with
answer
white
your
people,
question.
bro?
Don't. I'll answer your question when you answer mine.
No, I won't answer you because you're not a black man.
Checkmate.
I don't respect you.
The question is this:
I've
you're
already
gonna
told you
cry
that,
on the
bro.
internet.
I
You'll
already
cry
told you
on the
that, bro.
internet.
You don't consider yourself a
You'll
black
cry on
person.
the internet
You
about
you
I
want to
country
asked you a
breed
being
out
weak,
the
question.
black
I asked you a
race.
but you
question.
won't
You
go help
think
What's the
them.
that black
question?
people should
What's
be
the
breeding
question?
with white people. You are
What's
irrelevant
the
to this
question? I
conversation,
asked you a
bro.
question.
You have
I
no
Hey,
asked
hey
you a
But the
guys,
relevancy,
question.
question
I
man.
is,
gotta pass the
you
mic to
cry about.
Wildflower. Go ahead, Wildflower. Go ahead,
Yeah, go
Wildflower.
ahead, Wildflower, because I cooked them. I cooked
Hi,
the African
panel.
man.
Hi,
Go ahead.
hi, everyone.
Peace, sis.
Hi, Dynasty. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I hope everybody can hear me really well.
Hear you.
Um, so basically, I think our continent is in a bad way in terms of defense. And I think history shows over the probably thousands of years, we've not really focused on
Did she go out?
defense.
I didn't hear her.
No, you went out.
Um,
Go ahead, Wildflower.
can you hear me now? Yes.
No, Wildflower, we hear you. That was Pam
Yeah.
Mulatto's on it.
That was me. My bad. Go ahead.
So basically, we've not really focused on
I'm on the
defense.
mulatto
This
phone.
is
My bad.
this is
Obama.
why
Right.
the West Asians came in, and then later Europeans came in. Our weapons were not good enough, but we had the motivation to fight back. But over the years, we've kind of obviously had other issues, colonization, slavery. We haven't really focused on defending our house, and there's a lot of people that want to steal what we have in our house. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of good things in Africa, and everybody's eyeing our stuff. But it's like having a house that has no locks. People just come in and take what they want because they know we ain't going to fight back. We don't have the stuff. But I think once we really realize that we're defenseless, which is really quite sad and shameless, we will be able
Sad.
to work on it. And the thing about Europeans, obviously, they have a lot of tribes, more than us, but they've actually united over the concept of whiteness. They put the little tribal differences aside and said, we need to go after these blacks. But I think with us, we can unite under the banner of blackness. Obviously, we have so many ethnic groups, like so many of them. But when we realize that they have united under the banner of whiteness to go against us, and it's really successful, it's working for them. But if we start thinking in our own little groups, yeah, we're really defenseless as our little tiny little groups. Once we get together as one group, we're going to be under the ban of blackness because that's all we have in common with each other, the biggest thing. We could take everybody on. So, yeah, that's my contribution, guys. Hope everybody's having a good evening.
Can I ask you a question? How does Europeans have more tribes than us?
They have a lot of tribes. You have to
Bro, does
study
that
the history.
matter?
No,
Even
you
here
said.
in the UK,
I'm
they have a
asking a
lot of.
question.
Even the UK is a tribal nation. You have Wales, you have
All right,
Scotland, and they all hate each
how many tribes does Europe
and they
have?
all hate each other, but they all
How many
unite under the ban of
tribes?
whiteness. There
I'm
is a lot.
asking you a question. How
I'm
many
not gonna.
tribes
You you can Google it. You can Google it. There's so many languages in Europe. There's some. They
how
used to
many
beat. They
more than
used to
Africa?
fight
More than
before they
Africa?
met. Before they met us here. They used to fight each other every day for 400 years, and then they discovered there was black and brown people. They could focus their rage on us now. Yeah, but now they're all united under the banner of whiteness, and
How many different
they're
languages in
having
Africa?
us.
How many different
Well,
languages in Africa?
we have probably over 3,000 ethnic groups. That's a lot. But that's nothing.
Okay,
That's not a
so
problem. If we can get under the ban of blackness, that would just override all those little differences we
but
have.
that's the problem. That's the problem.
Would they
That's why
overrode
we
their
here
little
talking about this
differences?
bullshit, right?
They used to kill each
Another
other day and
another thing
night.
that separates us in Africa is religion. Europe, for the most part, is religiously homogenous. Most of them are Christian. You barely find
any large population of Muslims there. In Africa,
I said
it's like
that.
50-50.
I said that.
But that's
But
why
but
we have to forget religion and ethnic groups and be under the ban of blackness. That's what we have to
I said
focus on.
that. I said that. But the brother from what's his name, man? Yeah, the brother on the screen, man. He said Muslims is our brothers, man.
Hold on, but
I
brother, you're not
said that,
addressing the
man.
sister's point. The sister made a good point. Why are you, as Caribbean and African men, not in your countries helping to protect it? Simple
Brother.
question.
First of all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me answer your question. Give me some time and answer your question, man.
But you gotta let the
First of
Africans
all,
answer, brother. You gotta let the
all right.
Africans and the Caribbean
No, let
Kwame
me
answer.
answer your question. Let me answer your question, because my
Brother,
family's
you're
from.
not them. You're not them, brother. You gotta let the Africans and the Caribbeans answer because they abandoned their country.
Can I answer your question, man?
Well, I
Because my
wasn't asking
family,
you, brother, respectfully.
my family from the islands, yo. It don't matter, man. Get it where you at, man. Get it how you live it, man. Come on, man. You Black American, you know how we do.
And
He's
Come
not
protecting
on,
black.
Africa
He's
come,
doesn't
not
mean we
black.
have to be on the
come
And
continent. We
on.
can
Listen,
you
man.
gotta
work
stop
out things
you
without
gotta
actually
stop
being
Yeah,
at
calling this
this
white
home.
dude,
man
this
black.
dude.
He's not a black man. He don't identify as black. He say he's a
Yeah, but
mulatto.
but but but
So
he
You're
talking
He's
not
not
about
telling
even a
why you're not in your
mulatto.
country
By
helping
virtue
to.
of his parents being mulatto, it makes him not a mulatto. This fool doesn't even understand what the term
Okay,
mulatto means.
All right, but why you're not in your countries helping to protect
I
it though?
think
Let's get to
in
that part.
Europe,
You're not black, brother. We can't talk to you, bro.
yeah,
can I
we
just say
can't
my
talk to
piece,
you.
please?
I don't
Can
talk to
I say
people
my
Well,
that's
when you
piece?
not
go talk
black.
to your people about your
In
land
You're
and your
not black.
resources
We
that's
don't
being
owe you
taken
any
by China,
explanation. You're not black.
you owe your people that you
nah, but
abandoned the
You are
explanation.
not black, brother. You don't have any say
hello,
so
You
in
owe
this in this
Liberian,
hello,
situation.
you owe
You're
hello,
Africa
not
an
black.
explanation.
You are not black,
You're not
hello,
bro.
black, so
This
we don't
hello.
owe
brother,
you.
Can I
this
You
just
owe
We don't
brother,
owe
land? Can
Africa
you.
I
and the
just make
We
Caribbean
don't
an
something?
owe you
explanation
nothing.
You
for
are
why you
not
ran.
black.
this
You're
brother's not
irrelevant.
strategic.
Yes, but you ran for your
This
country.
brother's not
Checkmate.
strategic,
You're
man. This
irrelevant.
brother's not
Checkmate. The
strategic.
Chinese ain't in
That's
your
like a
country.
white man
Why you
telling me I'm
online
not
in the
black.
internet? Checkmate.
A
Hold
white
on,
man
You in the
telling me I
US
left
and
my
on the
hold
country.
internet.
Okay,
You in the
okay,
on,
US
hold
and the
on,
internet.
I
hold
owe
on.
Checkmate.
him nothing.
While the
I
Chinese
came
are
into
taking
the
your
white man
resources.
country. I took his
The
money. I
Chinese
took
are
all
in
his
Africa stealing your
benefits.
resources. Checkmate.
I'm taking all his
can we
resources,
stop
brother.
this? Can we just stop
All right, but
this?
let's have some order though. Let's have some order. The
Oh, now you
question
want
is,
order.
All
and
right,
let me
to
dialogue
Niger,
with the
hold
sister
on.
right quick.
To
To the
Niger.
sister.
No,
I mean,
let me say what I
Malado,
To
want
the
to say.
sister.
Let me
With
just
all
say.
due respect,
Can
hold
I
on,
just
to the
say
sister,
Malado,
you
something?
you
Just
deserve stronger
listen.
men. You
Can
deserve
you just
Malado,
stronger
listen?
men, sis.
Hold on.
Because the men in your
Malado,
race
where
ran
you at?
away. They are cowards. They
Can
ran
I
away
just
from their
make
Malado,
country. They
where
will
you
not go back to
There
house.
you
Why?
They will
go.
not
The
go
men in
protect
my
the
race.
resources.
Why?
They are
That
cowards.
means you're
They are
not a
not
part
men.
of my race.
Hold
They are
on,
not
So
men.
you're
hold on,
irrelevant,
hold
brother.
on,
The men in my
hold on,
Wildflower.
race. That
These
means
are
you're
not
not a
men. They
part of
hold
my
ran
on,
away
race.
and
hold
they're
on.
running
I
to
owe
white
you
man's
no
country.
explanation.
Malado,
These
You're
are
not a
not
part
men,
of
Malado,
me.
Wildflower.
You're not like me.
These are
So
not
you can
men.
shut the fuck up talking to me.
These are the white
Where you
man's
at?
nut grabbers. These are the
Whatever
white
you
man's
say,
nut hunters.
brother. Whatever you say.
Malado,
Your
Yes.
mama was
Checkmate.
over the white
Let's
man,
calm.
brother.
Checkmate.
That's how she
My
had your
mother's a
mulatto
mulatto.
ass.
Malado.
Make this
Checkmate. My
Your
father a
mother
conversation.
was
mulatto.
sucking the
Checkmate.
white man's nuts. That's how she
Malado,
had
Your grandkids will be
mulatto ass,
mulattoes.
bro.
Checkmate.
So go
Your
tell your
grandkids
white
will be
daddy we said
mulattoes.
fuck
Checkmate.
him. We're in this country. We're
Checkmate.
taking all his resources. There's nothing
Checkmate.
you do about it.
Your grandkids will be mulattoes.
Let this
Checkmate.
mulatto
You
dominate
wish.
this
You only
Yes,
wish.
conversation.
but and I'm
Hold
cooking
on,
you
Black
right
people
now.
will
I'm
stay
asking
black.
you.
That's where
And
your
y'all
white
ran
ass
from that
hope.
question. I'm asking
Your
you.
white
Why
ass
y'all
hope
don't
that
go
black
no?
people will become mulatto. We'll stay
But
black,
y'all
brother.
ran, and then I'm gonna go after
Black
that.
to the
Go ahead, Jay.
blackest, bro.
let me ask
None of us
Malado a
is gonna be
question.
mulatto. You see us on the panel, we're all
Malado,
black. None of us want to be
Mulatto,
mulatto, bro.
where
Now
are
let
you at?
them vent.
Where are
Let
you
them
at?
vent, cause I'm gonna come back with the
Mulatto,
ether again.
where
Let
are
them
you
vent.
at? Mulatto, where are you at?
All right, I'm gonna
You
respond to Ja. But the question is this:
no,
why
no.
y'all not in Africa and the Caribbean
See,
Okay,
protecting your
where are
resources?
you at? Where are you at right now? Where are you
All right,
at
mulatto,
I'm gonna
right
answer
now?
your question. Hold on,
you are
Ja.
just here to you are here
I
to
go
be
ahead,
stunt
Trinidad. Go ahead.
conversation. I think you are just here to stunt conversation all the time, and every time anybody says anything constructive,
All right, but
you
what's the
stunt it.
answer, brother?
You need to stop it. You really need to stop it. I don't know
All
why
right,
they
but
even
what's the
allow you on
answer?
this platform based on that attitude. Europe
All right,
has
brother, but what's the the answer.
Europe has
Okay,
up to
ask
500.
the brother where
Can
he
I
at.
finish what I'm
Ask the
saying,
brother
please?
where
Can
he
you
All
listen
right,
at,
to
right?
what I'm saying?
Wildflower. Let me dialogue with
Europe,
the sister right quick.
Europe
Let me
has
dialogue with
up.
the sister. Let me dialogue with the
Mulatto, you
sister.
need to stop. I don't know who
Wildflower.
allowed you on this platform.
All right,
You
but
Don't
don't
know
put
who
your
allowed
Wildflower.
you on
shit
this
on the
platform.
platform, Mulatto. You're not gonna start with any sister, bro.
And you
Look
just
how
You're not
timid
gonna
talk.
they
start with
are.
anybody, bro. We
Simple
don't care
question.
about your white man's
But
question.
Just
You're
talk.
Wildflower,
not
Don't talk
black.
about
Wildflower.
Bill.
You're
You
multi-generational
deserve
white
real men.
mixed
These are
breed.
not
We
Just
men.
don't
They
consider
ready
talk.
to
you a
roll. They
black
finna.
person, bro.
They'll never
You
go back
said
and
that
help
my
protect
race,
the
right? My
resources.
race. You're not
The
part of our
Chinese gonna
race.
take everything from
You
y'all
see
because if
Cuddy
they
over
like
there,
you.
he's a black man. You're not a black man, brother. We don't owe you any explanation.
No, you owe Africa an
Irrelevant.
explanation. Checkmate. You owe
We don't owe
Africa an
you
explanation
anything.
of why you ran away.
We don't owe you anything.
Yeah,
Ask
yeah,
all the
yeah. I
whys
mean, you
from
ain't.
now
But
until
let's
why I had to run shit. We don't owe you
let's
shit.
have a dialogue. Let's have a dialogue. All right, so the
We don't
question is
have
this:
dialogues
Let me
with
talk.
white people,
Let
bro.
me dialogue with the
We
sister
don't
though.
talk to white people on this platform, bro.
And look, Daniel, if I call him black, you gonna be mad at me. If I call him black, you
There's a
gonna be
lot
mad at
of
me. They keep
background
calling
noise.
me
Let me
white.
ask you, Nigel. See,
Dynasty,
Nigel,
you
you got
gotta
You
to
say they
control
making
control.
it
your
You
racial?
gotta,
microphone, Nigel.
Dynasty, you gotta
Yeah, they
control
are
Pan
just making
Mulatto.
noise
Yeah, you
constantly.
gotta,
They
you
have
gotta
about
All right, but
control Pan
with
can
all
I
due
Mulatto.
respect, let's calm it
can
down for the
this
listeners,
Mulati
though.
just stop?
Let's calm it down for the listeners.
All right,
The
guys,
question is,
Not stop the conversation
links
we're
in
for
the
gonna pass
chat
the
somebody.
mic.
room. Hold on. Links in the chat room. If you guys want to click, call in, click on the link. Go ahead, to Nigel.
Yeah, go ahead,
Mulatto is
Tuna.
just he's being a nuisance. He's being a nuisance on this platform right now. He's stunting the conversation. So
Yeah,
we're
I
talking
mean, he
about
can't help it. He's light skinned. He can't help it.
I can't help it. I'm a mulatto. I'm
You need
truthful.
to
I'm
stop
telling
it.
the truth.
So there are about up to 500 tribes in Europe, and the idea of having tribes is not the reason why people cannot come together, because we all have different things that we love, and like you like different football teams and all the rest. And even if you are in the same state, you find that sometimes people will be in different states, they will support different football teams, but when it comes to the country, they come together. This is what Europeans do very well. They are very tribal. They can be very tribal within their nations, but when it comes to coming together, they know enough to understand that when it comes to the national interest, they need to pull together. That's how they behave. It's not because they are not tribal. The last time UK had a little bit of a problem with with France, they sent a warship into the water just because of an argument over this in fish. They sent warship into the water just last year. So they do have their tips, but when it comes to coming together, they know when to come together. It doesn't mean that we all have to be holding hand kumbaya, but when it comes to the this in a racial group or African interest or black interest, you have to learn to fall in line and say, you know what,
Exactly.
it's in my interest for us to work together on this, because that's what we
No,
all do.
Tuna, do we hear you? But the question is, why you not in Nigeria
So who's
helping to
that? So
protect
who's
your
that?
resources?
Yo,
That's all I'm asking.
Mulatto, stop derailing the conversation, man.
No, no, this is on topic. Look at the
Stop
title. Look at
derailing
the
the
title.
conversation, man.
No, look at the title of the show, brother. I'm addressing the
No,
title
you derailing
directly.
Yo,
the
you
The
can't. Yo,
question
conversation,
is,
man.
How
you
do
gotta
you
the,
stop.
know
You
I
gotta
am
stop
look
not
at the title.
interrupting
Look at the
Pan
everybody.
title.
African?
So the
Where
question
you
is,
at? Where you
how
at, brother?
will,
Where you at?
how
Where you
will?
at?
All right, John, I'm gonna answer
Where
you
you at?
if all right, John. Let me complete the sentence and I'll answer your question.
Why you
The question
keep
is,
calling me Josh?
what's your name, nigga? Paul. Oh my God.
Oh,
Hey,
All right, I know I gotta drop
hold
down.
on.
God damn it. All
Hey,
right.
$10.
Hold
$10.
God.
on, hold on. No. Hold on.
$10.
So I'm gonna say this. This is like the second time Pam Mulatto's done that. Pam
Huh?
Mulatto, you're not welcome ever again on the platform. You
Huh?
know, because I mean, at least people who come on the platform, they say the N word, they at least pay the
What you
fine.
say?
You don't do it, Pam Mulatto.
Huh?
This is the second time you've done it, and you never paid it, and you just drop off when you
What?
say it. So Pam Mulatto, don't call back in.
I can't hear
All right,
you.
all right. Let
Okay.
me read this. Let me read this
It's
super
too
chat.
loud?
Mulatto, man, somebody needs to mute up. Philly Yardy vibes. Thank you for Tanella Holla. Mulatto is off topic. Yeah, but guys, you know there's the N-word tariff. So yeah, he can't come back on anymore because he like one time I let it slide where you don't pay, but you know he says it, he immediately drops off. So yeah, he can't come back on ever again. All right, go ahead.
So where we were was about talking about having different groups. It shouldn't inhibit us from being able to work together, because America is one of the most diverse countries. When you think about it, they have so many different groups. They are the superpowers of the world. Nonetheless, NATO is very diverse. They come together when they need to come together. Even the alliance that the NATO nations put together in the Middle East, look at how they were actually defending Israel. Like you can't even make it up. That this is a gift that they've got. They know how to work together when it matters the most, and we have to learn that when it comes to the entire group, we have to know what matters to the entire group and fall in line. And we have to start learning how to build our security this interest, because personally I find that a problem in Africa, because I say that to Nigerians, like I'm in Nigeria myself. I say that to them all the time, that you can't have a nation where you have one soldier to 1,000 citizens and you barely even have any technology, no ballistic missile this in the program, nothing. Based on what we are seeing right now going on in the world, it tells you fully the consequence of not doing these things, as if it will never come to you. It will, because they never took permission to come to Africa the last time they did. They are in this world and we are not participating in any way to be able to compete. And if we don't do that, 1.2 to 1.4 billion black people around the world is under peril, because sooner or later the world will change and they will redraw it in at their own will. Whether we'll survive is up to them to decide. Do you want to risk the life of your children and your children's children on that? And this is what I tell to our people. We can't keep playing. This is a serious matter. We have seen the consequences of not defending yourselves. Africa doesn't barely have any bunkers, no shelter, no bomb shelter, nothing. We don't have missiles. We barely even have guns. How are we supposed? We are in trouble here. And I really think that African leaders need to take this very seriously. We don't have to be braggadocious about it. We don't have to make a lot of noise about it. We just have to commission specific projects to ensure this threat is not on our necks. Because we can't keep living in this world where 1.4 billion people don't have any way of surviving. That is really disturbing. But that is me done. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off what you said. Well, you can't say Africa as a whole because things are changing. You know, the AES has set a bar and set a standard, and I think it's for every community of Black people to follow. Like the brother said earlier, it's a warrior class that's leading this new movement. I think that's why a lot of the older generation is upset, because a lot of them know that they don't got too much time here left, and this younger generation that's taking over, doing what they should have did to keep the fight going. So what's going on in the AES, in 2 years, I've seen the country do a whole turnaround. I mean, you could do the statistics online, whatever, but what I'm seeing with my eyes, I'm seeing the country do a whole turnaround, and every day I'm seeing improvement. You know,
Hey, Cuddy,
because
man.
the global West.
Cuddy.
What's up?
I have not seen improvements in you. You like you're starving, man. Yo, look, Africa needs
Oh
food.
man, you an old dope fiend. What is you talking about?
Yo, Cuddy, I'm just
What's up with your
man.
teeth? Why? That's why you don't never cam up. Because you don't want nobody to see that dope in your face.
Cuddy, man. I'm just messing.
Oh man,
Cuddy,
you come on here and get to talking, you need to figure out how to work your StreamYard. See, you one of the angry old heads I be talking about.
Yo, Cuddy,
your time is over with.
Yo, Cuddy,
you ain't built nothing yet.
Cuddy,
can I say something real quick before you go,
Come on.
No, God, hold on, God, please, we gotta move on. Go ahead, caller.
Yo, but I was saying, look, like I was saying yesterday on your show, I said on my show, Africa needs food. You know, it doesn't need weapons, it doesn't need protection, it needs protection from hunger. Now, there's an acronym called human rights, right? Human rights stands for H stands for hunger, U stands for unrest, M stands for malnutrition, A stands for anarchy, N stands for Negro. You know, Africa has human rights, so Africa needs to get its food situation right, man. You know? I'm just trying to beat around the bush, man. People are hungry, buddy. Don't talk about no defense, man. Come on. All they have to do is withhold shipments of rice in the country. Elvis knows it.
Are you done?
Niger knows it.
Words of the most crime Black nationalists and Black Americans.
Can we guys be serious, please?
Don't you understand that? I think people like Kala, you know the problem with people like Kala, they think that if you want food,
can I say something?
If you truly want food, you have to go for security. It's only a mood that cannot see that.
We gotta do something, man. Ain't no food, man.
You can't
have you can't eat. What you gonna do with the missiles? Eat them? You can't eat missiles.
You can't have
Hey, hold on, God, hold on. Elvis, are you on your Elvis? You on your Obama phone, man? Like, put the Obama phone down. I know they was giving them away in Minnesota, liberal Minnesota, but put the Obama phone down and call in on a different device. Elvis, you're on your Obama phone, man. You know this is a no Obama phone territory.
Yeah, man. Look, I said we love Africa. I love Africa, Diane. You love Africa. You know, I want to see Africa look like Dinah. See how everybody's eating fufu and jollof rice and different dishes. I want to see that all over the continent. I can't. Look, man. You got people over there go in Kenya, go for 5 days without food. You know, That's the biggest thing threatening Africa: lack of
That's
food.
ridiculous.
Listen,
Africa is not wash
listen.
with food. What are you talking
No,
about?
it's not no wash.
I'm not
That's
even
just
being
Hold
starvation.
peacock.
on,
What are you talking
Yo,
about?
in Nigeria, Nigeria has
Nigeria
extreme
has never
hunger.
had
Now,
famine.
hold on. Nigeria
Hold on.
has a problem.
Let me
Yo,
say
like you
something.
got in the northern Nigeria, people on the brink of starvation. Come on, you guys.
No,
All right,
no, they
hold
are
on.
not.
All right, hold on. This the problem. This the problem with black people, man. And this the difference between black people, white people, and Asian people, man. See, everybody got a historical context, man. See, everybody talking about the white people doing this to the Arabs or whatever, because they know, man. They know that the damn Arabs damn near took over the whole of Europe, you know what I'm saying, not too long ago, man. They trying to stop that Asian surge, man. This is the thing, this is the difference between everybody else and black people. Black people know who their enemy is, but they won't attack who their real enemy is, man. We know,
That's
we
100%.
know, we just can't sit back and just relax. We know even if the white man, even if the white man was eradicated tomorrow, man, we know the Asians is gonna come for our shit, man. And that's the problem. We don't want to face that problem, man. And that's all I'm
Okay,
asking y'all brothers.
I gotta read these super chats real quick. Shout out to Philly Yardy Vibes. Thank you for $10 holla. Mulatto was off topic. PCH Rise, $20 holla. Just supporting the channel, brother Dynast. I respect your mission. Let me bring True 37. Go ahead, unmute yourself. True 37, unmute yourself. True 37, unmute your Obama phone. All right, we gotta. Yeah, don't be calling in if you're not ready. All right. All right. Links in the chat room, guys. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the convo. All right, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, so like I said, this is not to be funny or nothing like that, but we got to black. It's not just Africa. The black race got to get its priorities together. I mean, really, we got to really get our priorities. We're trying to floss and look big before we got the basics down packed. You know, black people in America need to work on basic education. You know, you can't be walking around being 40-year-old YN and whatnot, running around. At some point in time, you got to grow up and mature. You know, you can't be looking like Sexy Red. You can't be doing all this stuff like this. So we got problems in America. People got problems in Africa. We're just a whole race needs to have a big revival of common sense and everything. Until that, all the intellectual egghead talk is not going to work, man. Let's get to the basics.
Let me say something there. So I agree with Carla when he says that we need to concentrate maybe more on food than defense, right? Because I'm of the opinion we don't live in a period of time where defense is the most critical thing. It is critical. You got to do it simultaneously, but it's more important to build out these institutions like your food production, education, healthcare, and build that out simultaneously with defense. But in terms of defense, Africa probably needs to focus on its neighbors or places close to it in terms of who might attack
The
it
number one threat to Africa
physically.
is instability. Africa is threatened from within all the time, not from without. Africa has never been attacked by its neighbor countries, whatever like that. It's always every conflict in Africa is always in turn. It all starts with lack of opportunity and lack of food. So that's what Africa needs to do first. You know,
No,
find a way how to make.
Africa,
Yeah, but Carla, you
Africa
talking
has
from
been
behind the
Oh,
invaded.
curve.
let Wildflower speak. Go ahead, Wildflower.
I just had to interject. Sorry about that. But Africa has been invaded
No, it has not
80,000
been invaded
times.
in modern times. That was
80,000
invaded in
times
colonial
by
time.
non-Africans.
I'm talking about Africa after
Even
it
now,
became republic.
even
Hold up.
now we have, can I just finish my point?
No,
Even
because you're
now,
talking
can I,
nonsense. Yo,
no, you're not letting me speak. And it's not
Carla, let
fair.
her finish.
Okay, even now we have exploitative Western companies, mining companies
oh
that's
yeah, they
coming
just
into our
walked in, right?
continent,
They just walked in.
taking billions out of our continent. We can't fight
So
them
in other
back.
words, you're too stupid to say no. You can't come in. You
No,
know,
it's
it's
not.
a,
No, no, they use force. If you have no force to match their
nobody
force,
put a
that's
gun to
it.
your head. Like in the
They
movie
do.
Sinners,
They do.
Actually, they
they
put
would
a
They
gun
invite
to
it
her head.
in.
kidnap
Haven't you learned
people.
that by now? They
They
put a
take
gun to
our
your head.
They will
resources.
invite every last single company in Africa exploiting some greedy African politician invited them there. Come on, let's be honest
No,
with
you have
ourselves.
no choice. Some
You
of
ain't
our
got no
No,
politicians
choice.
both
don't
That's a
are
even
bunch of
happening. Both are
nonsense. Yo,
happening
I
in
am
some
so sick and
cases.
tired of
okay.
See,
Africa slaves, man.
In some cases, corrupt politicians are inviting them. In other cases, when you have
Yeah, but they get invited in.
hold
Let's
on
be
now,
honest with ourselves.
hold on. In other cases where you have a politician that are not corrupt, they
Yeah,
will have to cajole them. That is how it works. It's not. It's not like if they want their way, they want their way. If you are corrupt, fine. If you are not, they
because
will get rid of you. You know how these things work. It's not. It's not like a child's play now. This is not the where we come and troll people. And this is some serious stuff. And it's happening to Africans every day. And people are
And
dying.
that's why tonight your people need to read the economical hitman. It explains all these things. We have no defense. It explains how these Western companies come in and do all types of things. So we're still being exploited and we have no defense. We're
So you don't
defenseless.
believe in black power?
Well, we need weapons to enforce that. There's too much. We have no technology to fight any of our enemies,
Let me ask you a
unfortunately.
question. Since Africa became independent, Ghana,
It's not
1957.
fully independent. We
Hold
don't
up.
control the money. We don't print our. We're not independent. It's just paper
Everybody in
independence.
Africa brags to me that they got a country and we're independent and black people in America are slaves and still live in America. So what's that? That argument goes out the door then, right?
Of
What
course, now, of course,
argument
that's
goes?
true. Now, the idea that Africa is free, it's just that African Americans, the situation they go into is slightly different from Africa. Africa was colonized, and they are still not free in terms of sovereignty. African Americans are still part of the citizenship of the country, even if they were oppressed and still, to an extent, still being marginalized in the country today. So it's quite different, but the same thing is that they don't have access to power. That's what is common. And Africa doesn't have access to power. A lot of African Americans don't have access to power, at least as a group. They don't. And we have to try to redress that because, man, our lives are, there are consequences to these things of not having it. We invite destruction. Nature abhors people that don't have power. You like it or not, if you don't have power, you'll be punished. It's just what it is. It's almost as if it's a law that God created in this world. You have no power, you will pay for
Okay,
it.
well, Tunaja, the point is, whose fault is it that we don't have power?
It's our fault.
Okay, so you can't blame anybody for wiping us off the planet, man.
But is that what I'm talking about? I said we have to do these things ourselves. We can't
Yeah,
outsource
we
our
gotta,
own
we gotta
survival
think,
to others.
we gotta exercise common sense. The problem with the black nation, man, they just don't want to work together, man. They don't understand the coming of the times, man. If Muslims can do it, if Arabs can do it, you talked about the white man being tribalistic, but they see what's on the horizon, man. It's only black people, man. Black people just they got a mental block. They don't understand, like, yo, all right, listen, if we don't come together and we do it here in America, man, we see our communities ravaged. We see our children's uneducated. We see our children's, you know what I'm saying, in poverty. We see our children don't have jobs. But we refuse to say, oh, listen, how can we change this? How can we do something different? No, we just go along and get along, man. It's just something inside of us, man. And we got to turn that switch off, or we got to turn that switch on, man. Because that's the problem, man.
In some ways, African Americans are ahead, or the people in the diaspora are ahead than the ones on the continent, because you see your
Yeah,
oppressors.
thanks to the bourgeoisie, man.
No, let me finish. In some sense, you see your oppressors more clearly. Africans don't necessarily see their oppressors or people that control the fate of their nations clearly because they see their leaders in front of them. But where Africa has this advantage is they have the landmass, they have the population there. African Americans have more of their awareness. African Americans are more racialized. They can see the lines more clearly. Africans don't see that line very clearly. So
Yeah,
both
Africans
sides
are
need to
not
work together.
race
Yeah,
conscious.
you
That's true.
you're right. You're right, but you're wrong. Cause let me give you a prime example, man. Let me give you a prime example. Up here in New York, you know what I'm saying? It's trash everywhere, man. You got people just eat something and just throw trash on the ground. You go a few miles up north to Canada, ain't no trash on the ground, man. what's making people throw trash on the ground, man? It's because of slavery? No, it's because they
Yeah,
don't
but not
have
everybody ain't black
no.
throws trash on the ground. There's whites, Italians,
It's,
Puerto
it's
Ricans,
because
everybody, man. So
it's because they don't have no self-awareness and say, listen, this is our community. This is our community. We're gonna clean up our community. We're gonna take care of our community, man. Because let me tell you something, man. This the difference. This the difference between people from down south and people from the north and people in the islands, man. They don't care how poor you are, man. You know what I'm saying? You can be poor and desolate, but you can be clean. You can take care of what you got. You can sweep the dirt. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like people in the city, people in the urban areas, black people in the urban areas, they don't care about that shit, man. I know it's not like that down south, man, and I know it's not like that in most places in the islands, man. Because you
yeah,
know what
but
I'm saying? You
I
can
thought New York City is all island people now. That's what I was always told,
oh
right?
now you want to be
But that's what
judgmental
everybody
of all
say.
other
They say,
people,
yo, Principe told me, and all
bro,
these other people,
bro,
Kwame told
bro,
me that
bro,
there's no
bro.
African Americans left in New York City. So how is it when there's only bad things as
Bro, there's
African Americans? You know?
everybody's in New York, man. There's African Americans, there's
Yeah,
Caribbean
well, I
people,
know
there's
most of my
Spanish
family
people.
lives in Long Island, upstate, and they moved out of the state, like places like Florida and stuff like that. We're not really in there, New York, like we
See,
used to. You know,
see,
we're definitely not in the
you know
Bronx.
what, you know
We're
what, you
definitely
know
not in
what,
the Bronx, bro.
you know what I don't respect, man. The minute somebody out for some criticism, you like, yo, now African Americans ain't
Yeah,
out
but
there, man.
hold on.
Come
I
on,
don't
man.
mind
We
criticism,
all do the
but
same
fair
dumb shit
criticism because
everywhere, man.
every day, when they talk about, even to the point where they're
Okay,
trying to
all
say
right.
Caribbeans created hip hop. What is it? If y'all
Forget
guys
all
are in New
that shit.
York and
Fuck hip
y'all
hop, man.
dominate New
I
York,
don't care about
why is it
you.
that the fact that why is the fact that when it comes down to the problems, oh no, we'll
You
put that
talking
on
about
African
you
Americans, you
talking
know?
about a
When it's
nonsensical
anything to
argument, man.
achieve, when it's achievement, like I had Arvin Kwame, oh, Uniondale and Jamaica States is Caribbean. No, they're not. My family
So
lives
we
there, you
so
know?
we so we
But when
going
it's
we
something
going we
good,
gonna
they
talk
call
about
it
hip hop.
claim it. When it's something bad, oh, those are foundational Black Americans or African Americans. Come on, man, stop it.
Listen. We all come from the same culture, man. That's the problem, man. That's the problem that black people don't understand, man. The same dance they doing, the
And you know,
same
and you
dance.
know, and you know, come on, and Jamaica, the islands, man, those are shitholes, man. Come on, stop. You know,
It don't matter. It
lot
don't
of them
matter.
shanty
It don't matter.
towns and stuff like that. You know, to it.
East New York is a shithole, man.
You know, so
South
it's like,
Bronx is a shithole, man. It don't matter, man. A shithole is
yeah,
a
but no,
shithole,
but
man.
like I said, all I'm saying is just be careful how you lord because we don't need FBA people.
Nah, listen, bro,
See,
bro. See, I understand you older than me, but yo, like I said, man, I get it where I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what's a shithole or what's not a shithole, man. If I'm here, I'm gonna contribute to what's here, man.
see
If I'm
what
a
I'm saying. Hold on, brother. Is
contribute,
that are you Ahmed? Are you Ahmed?
on my what?
Are you Ahmed? Okay, I recognize your voice.
Nah,
What's
I'm
your name
not
again?
mad.
No,
I'm not.
it's not. Can I say something to cut it quickly? I think he was saying something about Traore and the AES. I think what is going on right now in the world is going to be a serious test for the AES, and because if Iran, all the stuff Iran has gone through, and Russia and China doesn't seem to be backing them up very well. We know Syria just fell recently. I fear that the narrative that is being painted out there is that when allies of Russia and China are backed against the wall and are failing, they are not there to protect their own. While the opposite is true for Western alliances, you see how America backs up Israel, they back up Saudi Arabia, they back up anybody that they are fighting for right now. And I feel like the narrative that is being painted out there, which they have to be careful, Russia and China have to be careful what is the narrative that is being painted out there, because if people get the impression that they don't back up their own, BRICS is dead in the water. And by the time they are done with that, every other nation that was aligned with the West, Russia and China, will be changing allegiance. Because why would
Tonight,
you stand out to be attacked and knowing full well that Russia and China, they will not be there for you?
Naja, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Israel is there in the Middle East, yeah?
Israel is carrying out actions for its own interest, at the same time also aligning its action to the interests of either America and A few
No,
actors in the
no,
Middle East
no,
too.
no, no. Israel is there to be a buffer. Israel is a buffer. It's a proxy nation, man. It's there. It's a buffer for the Islamists and the Arabs to the damn Europeans, man. That's the only reason why Israel is there, man. You gotta understand. You gotta understand geopolitical nature, man. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Listen.
I'm not arguing that it's not part of it, but it's not the purpose of creating Israel there. Israel is there.
All right, all right.
It is incidentally an advantage to the West because it's technically a Western nation, and its actions often helps the
Okay, but
Western.
what's the purpose? What's the
Now,
Yeah,
purpose?
right?
but okay,
It
now
is
let
a
me paint
buffer.
another narrative to you. Sorry,
Israel
quickly.
is a
Sorry,
buffer.
Kati. Sorry, quickly. I will make this one quick. Let me paint another narrative to you. If I tell you now that it's possible that most of the stuff going on in the Middle East is orchestrated by Saudi Arabia, would you believe me? All the nations that has fallen are enemies of Saudi Arabia, and most of the nations that are acting right now, they act in support of Israel too and America. So Trump went to Saudi Arabia recently and signed a weapons deal of about 126 billion US dollars, and yet Gazans, Arabs are being slaughtered right next door. This is Saudi Arabia is not saying anything about it. That should tell you something. Libya was against Saudi Arabia, it fell. Egypt, that was Egyptian regime that was elected into office because it's democratic, was against Saudi Arabia. That regime fell. Syria, not friendly to Saudi Arabia, fell. Iran. As a matter of fact, there's a document during the WikiLeaks revelations that showed that Saudi Arabia was telling America to cut the head of the snake off, which was Iran. So, are you going to now argue that Saudi Arabia is using Israel to carry out its will? Maybe so. So this
Yeah,
thing is a lot more
exactly,
murky than we think.
exactly, yeah, exactly. You see what y'all failing to realize, man. The damn Arabs damn near conquered damn Europe about 300-400 years ago, man. That's what y'all failing to understand, man. You think the whole of Europe want to speak Muslim? You think the whole of Europe want to be Islamabad, man? This is a war of power, man. You know what I'm saying? You got three power factions going on right here, man. You got the Muslims, the Islamists, you got the Christians trying to stand on their own, and you got the Eastern Asians trying to gain power as far as China, Pakistan, and and Japan and all these other nations, man. This is a war going on, man. And Africa is the damn stepchild looking in from the outside in, man. They're like, yo, damn, all right, yo, we started civilization, but we conquered by all three of these factions, man. Let me tell you something, man. If Israel wasn't there standing on business, man, you know what I'm saying? That will give all access to all these Arab nations to come and flood Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Africa's damn near being recolonized right now by what? By these Arabs, because they pushing further north in Sudan. You know what I'm saying? They damn near.
But you said something interesting, that if Israel wasn't there, the Arab nation would be pushing further into Africa. But they are doing that though. They are in Sudan right now. A lot of black people are being killed because they are not Arabs, and they've already Arabized the north, and they kind of Arabizing Sudan, and before you know it, they are heading further south. So I'm not sure Israel is stopping them in reality. Maybe they would have advanced faster.
It's slowing the process up, though, man. That's what I'm trying to say. It's slowing up the process, man. And when the black man gets his head on his shoulders and realize, like, yo, damn, because you got to understand, man. All of Africa was black Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got the north of Africa, you know what I'm saying, Arabized, and the south of Africa being penetrated by the Jews and the whites, and you know what I'm saying, you got the east of Africa, you know what I'm saying, constantly Arabized, and you know what I'm saying, the last stronghold is West Africa. That's why they coming for West Africa, because that's the last stronghold, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Slavery and colonization wasn't it, man. Because even when they colonized us and enslaved us, they didn't change our mental state and our spirit, man. But once these Arabs keep coming in and these Muslims keep coming in, I mean, I don't know if I sound kind of like racist or whatever, but the Christians ain't your problem, man. The Christians came with the Bible. They said, "All right, you know what I'm saying, we gon' Kanye," because that's what the white man do, man. The white man talk a good game, man. But these Arabs and these Muslims, man, they will chop your head off, man, if you don't bow down to them, man.
They don't play.
So
Don't know about the
so
Crusades.
so that's the thing, like I feel like people are looking at this thing from a past time almost. You see what I'm saying? Like we're going too far back.
Yeah.
All the answers you need are right in front of your face. But if
Right
you
now.
come with a preconceived notion and you don't open up to maybe new possibilities, you're going to be blind to the answer. There's always a best approach for any given question. The thing becomes, can you find the correct answer at that given time? So a guy comes on earlier, he's talking about Egypt when Egypt was a global power, right? A power at that time, right? Now, that's a good thing to look at. But what you got to figure out is, how did they fall? Because they fell. So that means somewhere along the line, they messed up something. Because
that was me that said it.
Right. And what it was, if you go and check it, I'm sure one of the big things is going to be, at that time, it was he who has the best weapons wins. Right? So their weaponry, their technology, something fell off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's the lesson we need to learn from that time. Not try to bring that time to a modern time. Because no successful nations in our modern time runs with a monarchy. An open monarchy where the monarch makes the decisions of the state, right? So England, for instance, they still have the monarchy, right? But it's a figurehead. Laws are made in parliament. On paper, the monarch can do all this different stuff, but he never does it, because the power lies with who the people elect, right? Most successful countries, that's how they're running. Japan, South Korea, most of Western Europe, right? And they have fair systems in terms of electoral politics, right? Now, the thing with Traore, right?
Brother, hold on before you go any further, man.
Yeah.
How was China running? How was Russia running? Because
Now
Putin
China and
Putin been in power for like 20-something years, man.
and
Xi
I'm glad you
Jinping.
brought that up.
So
I'm
it's
glad
all
you
about
brought that up.
your ideology, man. It's all
No,
about your
I'm glad you
ideology.
brought
It's
that
not.
up. Let me show you this. Russia, right, competed against the United States in the Cold War, right? They fell in the 90s because their economy and things like that could not maintain, and their technological advancements could not maintain to what the Americans were doing at the time. Right? Now Putin,
That's not where they fell. That's not why they fell.
hold on. Okay, well, okay. We can look it up.
They downsized.
We can look it up. We can look it up.
Look it
They
up.
Whatever it
fell. They
was.
fell because they didn't have a united ideology. Man.
They never
Okay.
failed. They downsized.
Okay, let's work with that. Whatever you want to say, let's work with it. Right? Putin today, right? Russia has an economy today that's smaller than Canada, with 4 times the population, right? You see what I'm saying? And it's smaller than some European countries, probably smaller than Italy, smaller than the state of California. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, it looks good on paper, but Russia goes into Ukraine.
Bro, do you know how powerful Russia is, man? You know the
Bro,
only country,
hold on,
the
because
only country. Russia has damn near almost as many mineral resources as Africa, the whole continent.
brother, it's not about the resource.
Okay,
That's where we
bro.
get messed up. That's where we get messed up. We think that the resource in the ground is what makes you powerful. No, it's taking that resource that
But
you have and
you also
turning it
know
into products. You
you
see what I'm
also
saying?
know that you also know Russians have a fighting spirit, right?
and they
brother,
self-sufficient.
brother,
You know they also have a fighting spirit, right?
I think
brother.
what you are trying to say is that I think one of the theories from
All these, one second, brother. All these guys are talking about Russia, right? And none of them sitting on this panel that are talking right now would trade living in the United States for Russia. None of them.
I'm in
Why
Burkina
not? Why
Faso
not?
right now.
Why not? Why not?
I'm in Burkina Faso right now.
The
So
only
take
one
that
would
back.
do it, and I would believe him.
Take that back.
Is Kid Cudi.
Okay, do you remember the time where most of the Africans were going to Russia? Russia has trained a lot of Africans, by the way.
There are more Africans
A
in the
lot of
United
Africans,
States
even in
than
the
Russia.
army. In the army, most of the people that in West Africa, the soldiers that was trained in Russia.
Hey,
You remember
there's
what?
more,
My man, let me finish, right?
West Africans. There's more Africans in the United States, Canada, and Western Europe.
That's fine. It happened after
Russia.
the Cold War. My man, Russia is the only country where you go to Africa, right? Russia is the only country that can supply equipment, logistic to an African country. Russia will
Brother,
do that for you without even blinking. They will help you out. Somebody said they have a fighting spirit. Russia will always stand by a country that will fight, to be free. Russia has done that. They have that. No. Let me finish. They have that track. Russia has that track record. All the people who are kissing.
To help you out.
Okay, no. Let me finish. I'm not saying somebody. I called in because somebody was talking about Russia trying to turn their back on their ally, and I believe there was two Niger that were trying to,
Yes.
Tunaja, you gotta understand what happened in Syria is a different situation. That is what's happening in Iran, and it's different that maybe that what's happening in West Africa. Russia, when they come to your help, and when your people rise up, Russia will not get involved. That's what happened in Syria. They were fighting from within. Russia won't get involved in that. They came to back.
What are you talking about? That was what they were doing at first.
Let me finish.
The Syrian fight was internal too at first.
Okay, listen. It depends. Bashar al-Assad, was not well loved in his country. Let's be honest about that. He was not well loved. People wanted to get rid of him. His own people. Russia. No. There is a degree as to how a Russia can help you. If they feel like they can't do that. They will tell you we can protect the asset, but we can't keep you in power. That's what they did for the guy. Okay. Iran has no agreement with Russia. Has no military agreement with Russia.
What is this guy talking about?
Oh my God!
From this year.
It is not.
Was giving Russia drones.
Go listen.
What I'm saying to you, brother.
Pull their agreement so we can go over it.
These places you're talking about are paper tigers. That's what they are.
Okay. Name a country name one country. Name one country. Hold on. Name one country. Which you say this is a black channel, right? Name one country that all the people that you guys are talking about has come to rescue. Name one.
Like which
country you talking about?
Any country in West Africa.
Russia has not rescued anyone.
They has not rescued anyone?
Who have they rescued?
I don't get what you're saying.
Are you serious?
I don't get the question.
Well, tell me who Russia has rescued and that nation is thriving like the way you see.
Okay,
Japan.
you change it. What do you mean thriving? Thriving has to be done by you.
See,
you can't expect.
You don't understand.
No, you don't understand. Okay, listen. Tonight, what you guys are doing, right? The very people who ask for Africans to stand, right? When these people go about doing just that, your own people will come behind and sabotage it. That's what you guys don't talk about, right? The ECOWAS leadership, right, is under Nigeria, right? But you see the level of failure that these West African nations are facing. So the supergiant of Africa is just nothing to us, right? Because the leadership doesn't know what they're doing. So when the AES stand in here and tell you, at least we got an opening with Russia, right? Russia can supply everything we need. We can stand on Russia because they will not betray. Russia doesn't mind letting Nigeria become a nuclear power. They will not even blink. They will let you do it. Name the country that would never let you do it.
Brother,
Let me
People
let
that
me
you
let me
guys support.
Hey,
Those
guys,
are the
we
people
got,
that you guys support.
I gotta read this super chat. We gotta close out. Philly Yardy Vibes, thank you for the $5 holla. Ja, you talking trash. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Don is search for Haru. Peace.